Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISRC Lariat Production Truck Series. Tonight, it is the first test to see what the skill rating's going to look like for these drivers after last week's incredible finish at Daytona. It's now down for the drivers to go to the high rolling of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Race number 2 certainly should be a good one. This track, known in the history of the ISRC Truck Series for being one of the most drama-filled races of the season. And there is some drama that's going to be pulled in from last week. Drivers hoping to swipe the slate clean. And we are going to give you all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is Zach Hall. And Zach, I am so excited for tonight's race. We've been chattering about it before we went live. This race could be just as dramatic as it was last week.
It really could be, Sam. I think we could have two dramatic races here to start the season off. And like you said, in previous times here at Las Vegas, the 3 times they have came here, it's been pretty dramatic each of those times. So Las Vegas has that knack for the flair, and I think we could have some flair, definitely, as they would say here on the racing surface. But it's gonna be fun to see who can, position themselves here in this qualifying order. I really think track position is going to be a critical thing here, because at this Las Vegas Motor Speedway, you're going to see tons of grip, lots of throttle being used by these drivers to keep that car up to speed, and it's going to keep these trucks much more closer in a pack together and make that draft that much more valuable.
Draft has been the big talking point for a lot of drivers, but currently right now is something where the draft isn't going to be a factor. That is qualifying. Drivers have already done about 2.5 minutes of their qualifying, still a half of time left as each driver trying to put down their fastest lap. They're given 2 laps to do so, 5 minutes in total to get those laps in if they would like. And currently it's the 2-time winner of this racetrack, Danny Cochran, topping the board for himself. Danny trying to find his way into victory lane, did not do so last season, and tonight he's hoping for the best as Matt Dyer finishing off one of his times, as that's going to be his first lap down and starting his second.
See what he can do on this second lap here. Just watching him in practice, he had some decent speed in that practice session here in this 28 machine, so expect to see him run pretty well here. So we'll see what that next lap produces, which has been the quick lap for everybody. That second lap, once you're up to speed, as he comes out of 4, we'll see, can he have anything for the 74 Nick Crawford, who was able to take that top spot from Danny Cochran.
And Nick Crawford hoping for the best, but Matt Dyer breaking loose right when he swaps from the racing surface to the apron. That's going to cost some time and positioning. 16th best is for the 28 machine, as you talked about it. Top of the board right now, Nick Crawford, 74, trying to beat that championship curse that season after you win a championship. Usually fall off, and 74 is trying to break that.
And it has been that way. Either the champion has, left the series, or they've had somewhat of a subpar season to follow that up, and we'll see, can Nick Crawford break that spell, like you said there, Sam. But, look at Danny Cochran. I mean, he's a 2-time winner here at Las Vegas, so we could very well see him try to get into victory lane for that 3rd time and, be the only driver out here to have multiple wins at this racing surface and continue to.
As Noah Steele, the 8 machine, going to be one of the last drivers able to put down a time. The last one that's going to be out on track is Christopher Norris, who could beat out the 8 of Noah Steele, as Norris only able to get to 9th position, and this should be where the drivers finish out for qualifying. And there will be one driver that cannot qualify, Trenton Jump, given an L1. Reckless driving. And Zach, you could touch on that a little bit more. Last week, I'm not surprised that the kind of a penalty hammer was given to the 46 after the way he was driving last week.
That is the way the admins deemed it, man. They deemed it a little bit too over-aggressive, and I think probably a lot of that came down to the factor of it happening while he was a lap down. And, I understand from both sides of the standpoint, because I've had myself in those shoes as an admin or a team or a league owner, having to make those critical decisions like that on if you think something's over the line. And then also I've been in the driver's side of things where you're just trying to use everything to get back into a chance to win that race. And that's how Trenton felt was best necessary. Unfortunately, that has created him to have to start to the rear of the field.
29 trucks ready to start out here this evening, and let's take a look at our Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios starting positions. And if you'd like to go check out more from Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios, go head over to their Instagram. You can go follow them there at Orchid Moon Tattoo Studio. You find yourselves with full color custom tattoos, prints, pictures, stickers, and more. Go look up that of Orchid Moon Tattoo Studio. Taking the pole award goes to Noah Steele in the 8 machine. Second goes the last season's champion of Nick Crawford. Danny Cochran, the 2-time winner here at this track back in season 3 and season 1. Gonna be starting in 3rd. Cody Smith, a great qualifying time for the 7 in 4th, with John Forbes in 5th. Al Rochelle 6th. Ryan Ferraro 7th. 8th is going to be the 99 Chase Schaefer, a driver in my mind to watch out for. Last week's winner at Daytona, it's Christopher Norris in the 38 machine in 9th, with that of a newcomer, of Blake Hoppy, who's going to be in that of 10th position.
And the 11th starting position is going to be the 16 of Joshua Kanata. 12th is going to be another rookie there, Ryan Bird. 13th is going to be the 77 of Mark Whitley. 14th position going to be held by the 24 of Ali Fonseca. 15th is going to go to the 72 of TJ Crampton. 16th is the one truck of Martin Morales Jr. 17th is going to go to Logan Brakey. 18th is going to be the 25 of Cody Reed. Matt Dyer there with that huge slide is going to be back in 19th. And rounding out the top 20, it's Eric Sten.
Probably one of the biggest surprise runners from last week, Austin Halsey, going to be starting deeper in the field in 21st position for the 4. Malik Kuntz also starting pretty deep in the field in 22nd position, with GT Rosari in 23rd. Tyler Dangler 24th. Dakota Moniz in 25th. Justin Smith in 26th position. Adam Mason Cassidy in 27th. Tyler Horn 28th. And again, starting with the penalty, he was given an L1 after reckless driving last week. Trent Jump starting all the way back in last place, 29th position. It's going to be a long trek for a driver that has shown speed at this track in previous seasons, but certainly should be a good one. Noah Steele being up front, Nick Crawford in second. Zach, this track, we know that up front is where you would like to be for most racetracks. How are you feeling for these front runners on this go?
This is going to be a telling sign, I think, for us here, Sam, because we even spoke about this a little bit before the start. These trucks here on the initial start are very, very loose. Those cold tires do not create the most grip on the surface there with the Goodyear tires. It takes a little bit of time for it to build up heat before it actually starts to get sticky to that racetrack. And I think you could see that lead truck really have some loose conditions, especially with all that downforce and air pushing on the nose, making it want to turn to the best of its ability. I think we might see some drivers here a little bit sideways out of these first few corners. If they can make it through that, then they should be good here to race it out to probably the stage.
And the stage going to be at the end of lap 60 for these drivers here tonight. Going to be 150 laps in total this evening. The drivers have to run no fast repair, 4 extra sets of tires in pit road. And we were given note by the drivers, they cannot make it to the stage on fuel. They're going to have to pit before the end of lap 60. This is going to make things a little bit more interesting if we can stay green. Well, that's going to be the key. The pace car pulls off, and it's time for the second race of the season to get underway. It's green flag racing for the Not Blackjack ISRC Throwback here at Las Vegas, and it's side by side for our front runners as they head down into turn number 1.
What an excellent start from Nick Crawford on the outside line. Usually that bottom lane is usually a nose ahead, but it was the 8 machine being fought by the 74 down in the 1 and 2. But it's the bottom lane that's prevailing with Danny Cochran's help. Noah Steele is going past that outside group, and it looks like they're tandem drafting.
And the draft package, who's going to work with who? And right now, Noah Steele getting help from the 2, Danny Cochran, seeing Armadillo Racing and Larson Line working as 1. 74 and newcomer to that of Snowy Desert Racing. John Forshall trying to work as 1. Not going to do so. Instead, the 8 of Noah Steele leads lap number 1 as they're trying to get single filed out for a front 4, but it's 5th on back. They continue to stay side by side, and some even thinking 3 wide.
Oh, man, and we had a major incident in the back. You see the 5 of Moniz there's in the wall, but it's also the 6 of Justin Smith. He was real sideways there in 1 and 2. Now Moniz completely around here on the middle of the back straightaway on that apron, getting back turned around. But we're going to stay green here, Sam, and that was right in the mix back there around that 23rd to 25th position.
And because the admins have changed it up this season, there will not be an admin thrown yellow. It is down to iRacing. If it deems that that incident is worthy of an accident, it will throw a yellow. And here's the replay of what happened. 6 got loose, and it went around, spinning out, collecting the 5, who bounces that outside wall, comes back around, and just loops it, trying to save any more momentum lost into the wall. Luckily, there wasn't more contact, but early trouble strike here on just lap number 2. Back to live racing, though. This up front action, they are keeping it still side by side in the middle of the field. And Zach, I'm not surprised. This draft package showing how strong it is.
It really is, Sam. These first 15 to 20 laps, in my opinion, these guys are going to be able to make a ton of moves with the tire and grip available to them. And that's going to be the time when you want to make moves. So someone like Danny Cochran, who's been able to jump out to the lead ahead of Noah Steele here, I like this call from him, because the clean air at some point, once the tires do get warm and get older, that clean air is going to be so valuable to be had and so tough to get around. So right now, Danny Cochran placing himself out front while the rest of the field tries to catch up.
Danny Cochran coming off of a horrendously terrible Daytona race that he could have asked for last week, found himself having some connection issues and computer issues that forced him to get in a lot of incidences, that also forced him to just pull off and get last place in points. This too, hoping for a recovery run, and what a way to go as we hop on board the 99 of Chase Schaefer, who's trying to make the early pass for 3rd place, and this has been the driver who's on the move, one of the biggest movers in our top 10, up 4 positions.
He really has been. He's been doing a great job along with him, the 23 of Blake Hoppy there. Both of those drivers really making a charge through the field. You see there comes Nick Crawford sliding up in front of him. And now the 99, once again, now he's on the look to go to the bottom side, see if he can make the pass on last season's defending series champion. Will get that job done. And right now being very aggressive with his moves and feeling like maybe he wants to go out there and get that clean air that I said is just so valuable to have.
Something we talked about a lot, felt like last season, was a lot of who's saving tires and who's not. And it seemed like a lot of what we were seeing from the beginning of last season to the end was the drivers that were more aggressive. It seemed to really help them in the long run. Drivers that were saving their tires could have gotten themselves in trouble. On screen, you see that is the 23 on our ticker, 31 on screen. That's going to be Blake Hoppy, who's trying to just stay up front on the outside lane of the 11 of John Forbes. But internet connections, again, striking a lot of drivers, and that's also something to let you, the audience, know. A lot of storms happening on the East Coast currently, and drivers have been talking about internet being a big issue to watch out for here tonight.
Yeah, that's for sure, Sam. It is tough to see that. It's unfortunately that's Mother Nature for you, and that's what we've been dealt here tonight. So hopefully nobody runs into issues getting disconnected here and lose out points here. But man, look how tight-knit racing this group is right here with Ryan Bird right in the mix of it. He's got Ali Fonseca now diving to the inside in the 24, using that apron to get alongside, and all these drivers just fighting every inch they can to get here. And there goes Bird. Look at him just drive it in there and clear that 24 and just continue to fight forward.
And this is just outside of our top, just inside, of our top 10. Again, stage break at the end of lap 60. Top 10 drivers get stage points. So this is so crucial to be running as aggressively as we are currently. And to see on screen, it's the 38 of Christopher Norris, winner from last week, with the purple machine of Joshua Kanata trying to help him on the inside. Drivers trying to stay aligned. But Zach, I'm curious and concerned. That apron on the front stretch, it is legal to go there. We saw during qualifying Matt Dyer struggling. I'm getting more and more concerned every time we go on the front stretch.
You really have to make that transition fast. If you jump down there and kind of, go half and half on the racetrack and really go down there slowly, it can really upset the truck. And as the tires wear, that's going to get more and more dangerous. So yeah, the drivers electing to go down there, they're going to have to watch for, because what you'll see happen is a lot of times they come down there through that tri-oval area of that front straightaway, and they'll dip that left front tire on the apron, and it just really upsets and de-wedges the car and really makes them want to turn to the left. So drivers are going to have to watch out for that for sure. We see it strike in qualifying. I'm sure at some point tonight we'll see it strike for one of these drivers.
77 and Mark Whitley on screen. A very odd and Very uncharacteristic position to see the 77 back in 16th position. Forcing it 3 wide. Joshua Canada on the inside on the apron. It's going to be Ryan Ferraro stuck in the middle. Mark Whitley. And somehow they find the spacing. And the 34 might be going backwards. He's stuck in the sucker hole. It's Mark Morales in the 1. Holding steady. But this is a dangerous place to be for the drivers back out of the field. They're going to be going 3 wide again. It's GT Rosari, Matt Dyer, and Mark Morales holding through 3.
Oh, close to almost contact there to 28 and the 14, definitely getting close to making contact. That almost got Martin Morales involved. Now the 34 fights back there for Ryan Ferraro, and he got to give him a round of applause for some excellent driving there through that sucker hole for moments. And now it looks like maybe Eric Stamp's going to try to put him there again, as actually he slides back now. Tyler Dingler through the middle.
Thank you. Try to find where it's most comfortable to be, and this is all the drivers where all this chaos is running. This is back in 20th position that we're seeing this chaotic battling. Everyone else in front of them, they're either single file, some side-by-side racing, but most of it is not like this back half of the field where everyone is scrapping to get the best position possible before these tires take away, and there's no more draft package, you could say, that the drivers are dealing with.
I mean, it's wild to say this, but I mean, we have 26 trucks within almost 3 seconds of each other. That is literally the back straightaway covered in race trucks, and it's just how this racing is here in Las Vegas. The grip level is so high, and these trucks so under horsepowered that they can carry so much throttle time that the draft becomes such a vital part of the racing here. And if you lose that draft, like some of these drivers are flirting with doing, that can pretty much end your stage chances of going up there and trying to fight for a top 10 position to get those points that are handed out.
This is the back half of the field. You've got that of the 29 machine of Logan Brickey, the 26 of Tyler Horn, just trying to stay attached the best that they can before drivers really start to either move forward or fall back even more. The 3 drivers that are not connected with this group, first is Trenton Jump in the 46, then it's Justin Smith, Dakota Moniz that were caught up in that lap 2 incident that did not bring out a yellow. The rest of the field still chugging along, and up front it is Danny Cochran, but under heavy pressure it's the 99 of Chase Schaefer, now side by side for the lead, and the 2 is defended well for these first about 5 to 6 laps of being challenged. But Zach, I got a feeling Chase Schaefer, he's going to do everything possible to take this lead position.
This rookie right here is flexing his muscles right now as he's trying to find the speed that he's been able to get up to the 2nd position with, now to get around Danny Cochran. And look at Cochran making that truck wide. He's pretty much covering all the lanes, and he's pushing them down the straightaways. And look, he covers them all the way up to the pretty much all the way to the wall. And Schaefer now going to be under threat from that 74 machine from behind.
And both these drivers in the lead position, they are costing one another so much time and speed. Chase Schaefer aggressively to the inside lane, trying to do a slide job move. He's gonna be equal to the pass, but Danny Cochran continues to poke the nose. The outside momentum keeps the 2 side by side, but Chase Schaefer finally leads a lap, but now both of them under pressure as they almost make contact in the entry of turn 1.
Oh man, we've seen what Las Vegas contact can make happen. And right now, these guys are flirting with disaster up there as they're throwing side drafts on each other. That's the key. You got to get close with that right front fender of your truck if you're at 99 to that left rear fender of that 2, because any bit of air there, you get close to them, you throw it on that rear spoiler, really slowing down these race cars. And that's what a classic side draft is. And that's why you usually see the driver that is the one farther behind the driver ahead be able to pull up alongside.
These drivers, this is giving me a little bit of deja vu of last season, the first 2 to 3 races of the season out of Kentucky, as well as at the Chicagoland. Drivers were on top of one another in the lead position at all times, and the leaders caught up in a lot of messes. And Chase Schaefer has shown he's willing to race aggressively with other drivers. We saw the 99 and the 46 last week. They're both lap cars battling and fighting for every position. They got caught up in a mess. It was the 46 who got the worst of it in the penalty. But right now, Schaefer wants this lead position, and it's Nick Crawford giving the assistance to the 99.
That was a good push from Nick Crawford. Just that little bit of help. And look, Schaefer tries to cover it off, but Danny Cochran says, no, sir, not today. And he makes the move back to the outside. This racing is getting a little possibly too far aggressive, where we may see contact have to come into factor.
And even behind the two machine, there was almost contact between third and fourth place. Kyle Rochelle, a lot of these drivers, because our front two are leading this train of draft package, it is whatever happens up front. If there's a bump, a major slowdown, it's accordion affecting its way all the way back through the field. And this is almost just influencing just a driver back from them as we hop on board with Ollie Fonseca, the driver that almost won the championship last season. 24, hoping for a good run here tonight as he is currently in 7th place, riding right behind to gain a sense of what it's like trying to attack these drivers ahead of him.
Went a little bit loose there off of 4 there from as we're in, stepped out as D-Rayer flirting with disaster again with that apron, kind of half and a half on it. And that can kind of make that truck over-rotate a little bit to the left, and he can quickly be in trouble. But right now, Fonseca was looking forward, but he's got some guys trying to go past him. That's Blake Hoppy there as that 31 truck, 23 on the scoring monitor. He's looking quick again, Sam, here, trying to make some of those positions that he was losing there for a moment back up.
Blake Hoppy, Noah Steele, as well as John Forbes, Ollie Fonseca, all running 32 flat second times that last lap ago, costing him a bit. Now settling in as Hoppy the inside, almost clear, not able to make that slide job work for himself. It's great to see newcomers joining in the fray. Rookies are showing it. I love the fact when we bring in new drivers and they're competing with the top dogs of the league. Chase Schaefer taking the lead, also seeing Hoppy up in the top 10. I gotta say, Zach, this new class for the season 5 rookie class is looking great.
It really is. Then you throw in Ryan Bird also there at 9th, right behind Blake Hoppy. I mean, this is definitely looking good for that group. So we'll see who else can make a factor. Even TJ Crampton here, look, he's fighting for a top 10, so some stage points. And that's, again, what you were saying, Sam. Love to see that because this is just new names to throw into the mix, and it makes that much more, every position matter that much more when there's that much more competition. So it's awesome to see that from the rookies. And right now, Crampton trying to go forward and get maybe into that top 10 for some stage points, but he's definitely got a fast one right behind him. That's the 77 of Mark Whitley.
Mark Whitley, he fell back a position or two, and now deciding it might be go time for him to attack. Last couple of laps, though, fastest driver on track. It's actually the 28 of Matt Dyer in 14th position. He's up 5 positions, and right now trying to get by Cody Smith, which Cody Smith, Zach, this 7 machine, what a qualifying run for a driver that really struggled last season and trying to make a big swing here in his sophomore season with the ISRC Truck Series.
It was very impressive to see that he qualified 4th here tonight. I mean, right now fighting for 13th and 14th right now, so not out of the mix, but man, what a start for him. And that's where you first got to find. You got to first find the speed and then find the consistency. And it looks like that's what the 7 has done here tonight, has found that little bit of speed. We'll see if he can pair that with some consistency and maybe have a better shot at a good solid top 10 finish here tonight for himself. But yeah, Matt Dyer definitely looking quick. So with Malik Kuntz there also, I mean, he's come up from the 22nd position. So both those drivers definitely moving forward.
Trying to move forward as a group if possible. A couple of drivers really losing spots. Cody Smith, one of those that is now about to lose his 10th position from where he qualified. Another driver that lost a lot of spots was the 34 of Ryan Ferraro. He's lost 12 positions. Driver that's deeper in the field and quite surprising because this is a driver that's finished well here at Las Vegas in past seasons. Cody Reed back in 21st position. He qualified 18th. This is looking very odd for the 25, who looked like this was going to be his season. As a driver to pit road, it's Joshua Kanata, the first taker here tonight.
Very early stop, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, we got the lap 60 stage break, but yeah, and we can't make it there with only 47 laps of fuel, really, is what I've been able to run here, what I heard tonight. For Kanata, this is somewhat early, in my opinion, Sam, and also by himself. That's what concerns me also. This place is similar to Daytona and Talladega. You kind of want to come down with a group of drivers, so when you get back out on the racetrack, you're able to run those fast times that are in those packs, and he'll have the undercut with the advantage of the newer tires, but when they catch him, he'll probably be easy pickings.
Another driver by himself into pit road, Matt Dyer following in suit a lap after the fact, and trying to hear if over the radio if any of the drivers might be takers. That's one major concern I have, is when drivers come over the radio and start making their call. They're coming into pit road. We've seen this in other leagues. We've seen it in this one. Drivers running over one another when they're coming into pit road. Miscommunication. This could be a big factor, as we're marching our way to the halfway marker of this stage. Stage break again at the end of lap 60. Only the top 10 drivers will get stage points. This up front challenger is Chase Schaefer, still leading the way after moving up 7 positions from where he qualified. This 99 is looking stout so far, but like we see from the draft package, cannot just pull away from the rest of the field.
He's not going to be able to get away, that's for sure, and that's just going to make things tough. And right in the middle of that pack there, you've seen it, the 2 machine from the 8 machine that's still here. That 2 hit pit road along with Fonseca, Morales, so there's multiple drivers coming down there to get their stops done, and that's right at the halfway point, which kind of makes sense, but I think we'll see a few other drivers maybe stretch it just a tiny bit more, few laps, just to get that advantage of the tires, because the draft is just that valuable. So we'll see when they elect to come down, but Chase Schaefer definitely putting on a show here for us tonight.
As you're seeing on screen, battling for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and all of them seem to be showing the signs of pit road. Noah Steele, John Forbes almost getting into one another. Drifting is the 11, as it's practically our whole entire top 6. Enter pit road as 1, and a couple of other stragglers following suit.
That was awesome to see right there, man. I love when you have that many trucks that close together, hitting pit road at that highest speed. That was just raw talent from a lot of those drivers right there. And here's the thing, can they get into their boxes without having any mishaps? Looks like they will.
Able to get their way through, as it's going to be that of Blake Hoppy leading the way in the 23 machine on our ticker. Again, 31 on our broadcast. You can see for the 31, he's trying to stay up there. The 77 Mark Whitley sticking in tow, and Mark Whitley's got to be one of the drivers I'm expecting stay out as long as possible, because we talked about when the race first started, those cold tires very slick, and with that big of a group that just came into pit road, watch out for these next couple of laps. We could be seeing another slip up here quickly, as you see Ryan Bird in his box.
There's so many chances for yellows during these pit sequences. First off, with the entry to pit road, it being a super speedway style race where these drivers are that stacked up together, you're most likely going to have a wreck on the entry to pit road. And then, like you said, Sam, with the cold tires, you can have a wreck that next lap coming out of pit road. So I think that's why a lot of guys do have that feeling of wanting to go a little bit farther, just to make sure they might catch that yellow flag that, really comes back to bite them.
As seeing drivers get back out on track. Matt Dyer, Nick Crawford trying to work as tandem to move their way forward. Kurt Leach, Joshua Kanata, Danny Cochran, and Chase Schaefer, that are your top 3 that are in line working with one another, that have already made their pit stops. Another group of drivers going to be Ryan Ferraro and others that have made their stops. Still waiting for our top 6 to make their first stop of the evening. That's Blake Hoppy, Mark Whitley, Logan Brakey, Tyler Dangler, Trenton Jump, and Tyler Horn that need to make their stop. And those drivers that need to make their stop, well, they're being swamped by those that are trying to unlap themselves the hard way.
It has been wild to watch. I've been watching the 2 of Danny Cochran, and then up here to actually making contact, wrecking off of 4. The 2 is around. I was about to say I was watching them cut through the field. They were making some very questionable decisions, and they had a driver pit in front of them, and that caught out Cochran here as he's trying to get spun back around.
And he was able to stay off from going into pit road, but he's trying to get himself back on the racing surface, finally gets onto some asphalt and finally can start ripping it. But that is a major loss in time for the 2 of Danny Cochran. And what hurts the most is also to that of Joshua Kanata, who got slight contact on the right side of the 16 on that incident. And now this is just going to be helping out Chase Schaefer, Nick Crawford, Matt Dyer, trying to just pull away from the rest of the field. They've already made their stop. As again, we still wait for these 2 drivers to make their pit stop. That's going to be Blake Hoppy, Mark Whitley, and also Tyler Dangler, who's 5.1 seconds back from these top 2.
I'm interested to see here, Sam, what decisions made by this top 3 here that have stayed out so far. I mean, yeah, they've got a trap to lap down, but when they come down, they're not going to have the most laps to run people down, as you're seeing the difference in speed there as Tyler Dingler lets those drivers go by, but they continue to go on, and again, they can go about another 10 laps or so here before they'll have to run out of fuel, and maybe even a couple more than that due to the draft really help them save that fuel mileage.
And on screen, this is a pass what potentially could be for the lead once this pit cycle goes through. Nick Crawford, Chase Schaefer, side by side. It's the 74 on the inside, trying to keep the momentum up. Almost clear the 99 machine as they're closing in on our leaders to unlap themselves. Then behind them, battle that could be for what 3rd place is Ollie Fonseca and Matt Dyer. Side by side, it's Nick Crawford. He gets the momentum, he gets the pass done, but he's going to be 3 wide, squeezing his way through, and Schaefer trying to muscle his way as they're splitting through in the madness for the 99, making it past. That could have been a big one, but they survive somehow, as Hoppy going to be trying to set his way to the inside can, and he'll block off the 24.
That 99 was almost a little too over-aggressive there for sure. That was almost a major incident there as Nick Crawford took the what will be the lead by the leaders of the current time. So that was an interesting pass there as it was 3 wide as Mark Whitley was trying to get himself up to that lead past Blake Hoppy, but both of them still just waiting to come in as now Kanata going by to unlap himself.
Going to unlap himself and trying the hard way to get through if possible, as it's going to be seen Lee Shriver settling in. Where is the safe place to go? As Tyler Dangler's trying to find his way into pit road and will do so. It's now these top 2. The best that they can do right now. I mean, Blake Hoppy as well as Mark Whitley, they're going to settle in. And I mean, at this point, Zach, you're laying in your bed, but the troublesome spot is that there's way more lap traffic behind them that could trap these top 2 to the outside if they cannot defend that inside group when they need to hit pit road.
You're exactly right. If you have those trucks to the inside there, then they can really have trouble getting down to their boxes and get to that entry of pit road. So we'll see how the timing works out. I think, again, they can go at least another 6 probably laps from now before they will have to hit pit road. So hopefully this group will be passed. But, you know, we got this group coming up on new tires. Then there's another group about, like, I'd say about 3 or 4 seconds back behind this that they may run into when they actually do eventually have to come to pit road. But it looks like most of the drivers electing to go around the outside here, and that's what these drivers are going to hope for them to do, is just go right around the outside so they have clear passage to pit road if they need so.
Trying their best, but who might think about going 3 wide if they do find themselves being side by side? And also the tires, where is the comfortability as Christopher Norris, he's the one of the drivers, as well as TJ Crampton, he'll send it down low for himself.
Big move being made there as him and Crampton go by these drivers that have yet to pit, and you know they're trying to make up time because right now they're about 5 seconds off our leaders. And now, as you can see, Mark Whitley hitting pit road here. It looks like Blake Hoppy, he's going to continue on. Whitley's seen enough. It's going to be interesting, Sam, I think, here to see where he comes out, how far behind, and how little time he has to make up here.
Trying to set up, how are you going to be able to get into pit road? I think Hoppy should be coming in this lap, because the longer he stays out, it's kind of already past that zone that we were expecting drivers to maybe bring out a yellow. Everyone's settled in their own position, and the 31 will make that decision. Into pit road is Blake Hoppy, and luckily for the majority of the field, no one caught with the black flag penalty. Tyler Horn spent a little bit of extra time in pit road as he had to find himself getting slight damage repair and that of the 23 machine. Also, luckily, no black flag. He'll hit his box and hope for no more mistakes, but giving up so much time that you're not getting stage points, and it's down to these 2 drivers up front now. Nick Crawford, Chase Schaefer, Ollie Fonseca. Who's gonna win the stage here at Las Vegas for the Not Blackjack ISRC Throwback race? 74. Oh boy, is he getting nervous.
He is definitely getting nervous here, Sam. That 99 has been aggressive so far. The 74 covered him off there on the entry of the corner, and the 99 kind of felt like probably the door was shut on him. And that's going to be a case that we're going to see how they can get around the traffic here of Danny Cochran, who has that damage. And, you know, we talk about damage a lot. This truck has a new damage model. This damage model now, with it the way it is, it can be forgiving and also not very forgiving at all. So it's one of those situations where, as a driver, you just got to deal with it. And Danny Cochran's definitely feeling the ill feelings of that left front damage, because this place is all about speed. You got to have those fenders nice and clean.
As the 2 machine trying to figure out where he wants to bottom weave, get out of the way. The 99 of Schaefer right on the back bumper of Nick Crawford as the laps continue to tick away. 15 laps to go, about to be 14 when they cross the line before the stage break. Yellow is thrown. Top 10 drivers get stage points. First place will get 10 bonus points. Second gets 9, 8 to third, and it continues to drop down 1 until we get to that 10th place position. You get 1 bonus point. Where currently that driver is TJ Crampton, who's got a little bit of a competition that of Eric Stant behind him, but TJ Crampton's looking good in 10th position to get that last bonus point.
That he really is, and that's great to see for a rookie like that. Get some stage points, and I mean, if anything, he can find a little bit more speed. He can get past Christopher Norris, possibly Ryan Bird, and Noah Steele, and Joshua Kanata, who is on the oldest tires of this group, up ahead of him. So we could see Kanata possibly be in trouble here for Eric, someone like Eric Stamp here that we're riding on board with to try to get past him before the stage ends, just due to having that much older of tires.
Ryan Bird getting shuffled out of the inside. You're right on board with Eric Stamp. Get a sense on what it's like following a pack that's getting pretty scrappy as Noah Steele gets bounced out and now gonna have to get in line. But Zach, the 53, a driver that knows at these mile and a halves about fuel strategy runs, and I'm not expecting tonight to really turn into a fuel strategy type of a race, but certainly the drivers, you think about strategies already on how to turn this second half of the race after the stage break is done, and what to change up.
You're very right, Sam, because that second half of this race, going to be 90 laps. We will have some caution laps there, so that will help out extending these stage breaks here for him, because that'll make it less fuel mileage to have to worry about. So I believe we're going to be in a classic one stop, but if you get that weird timing where, it's 50 laps to go and we get a caution, somebody's going to go in there and top off and try to make that thing. And Eric Stamp's definitely one of those drivers I could see trying to pull off that strategy. As it's getting mixy here for these final few spots in the top 10. Looks like Christian Morse has been able to get past Noah Steele. Our pole setter now, Crampton, looks like he's going to try to follow him along. Maybe Stamp can get one of these guys also.
Who's going to get 1 point? Who's going to get 5 points? And mixed in between is 6 down to that of 10th position. All in this shot. Eric Stamp hoping for more. A little bit of fights and bickers to show so he can steal a spot. Scott Rochelle able to get by Danny Cochran, and Danny just struggling with that damage. But luckily for the two, this race will get reset. And we talked about trends a lot last week, and Zach, we were looking up trends. 8 cautions. That is the magic number that if you're a lap down driver already, that you were hoping strikes again.
You're exactly right, Sam. They're hoping that those 8 cautions begin to happen, because we have just not had them here tonight. And personally, coming in here, looking at practice, looking at how a lot of guys were racing, I was expecting, I'll go ahead and say it. I said I felt like they were going to break that trend of 8 cautions and get more. But at the moment, it doesn't look to be going that way. But I tell you what, you do throw that stage caution, things can change very quickly with some of the racing we've seen.
Up and on board, Paulie Fonseca as he's trying to get by the 6 machine, Justin Smith, who's just gone a lap down. 6 again caught up on that lap 2 incident with Dakota Moniz that cost a lot of position and time, and forced the 6 machine now to be the first car lap down. So once this stage break comes out, that of Justin Smith should get back onto the lead lap. So 24 able to make that breeze pass for himself. Nowhere close is the 24 to this battle. It's up for the lead. Nick Crawford, Chase Schaefer, who is going to maximize their points at the stage break and get that win, the 10 extra bonus points, and potentially some playoff points to be grabbed heading into the playoffs. As we already know one driver that's locked in, Christopher Norris, winner from last week. It's going to be very crucial points to get yourself just into the playoffs if you're Chase Schaefer or last season's champion Nick Crawford. We have ourselves 7 laps, about to be 6 laps to go before this stage is done.
Nick Crawford definitely knows how valuable these stage points and stage wins can be. So he's already trying to pull off his first one of the season here at Las Vegas. And I tell you what, he's done a good job since he's gotten to that clean air. He's been able to really defend that 99. And again, a lot of this comes down to what I call the aero wars. You got to place your truck where that truck behind you likes to run. If you're running in the middle groove here in 1 and 2, because there's a little bit of an option there for sure in 1 and 2 where you can run that bottom groove or the second groove above that seam on the racetrack where the asphalt meets, or down here in 3 and 4 you're kind of limited. You're really only running the bottom lane, so you're kind of easy to cover someone off there and really make them have to work. Right now, Schaefer's actually had a run off of 4, and he's actually closed this in. He may take a look down here in 1 and 2 possibly if he wants to go to that inside.
Hey, Schaefer, winner of last week's Team Watson Racing setup stage break, trying to get a second of the season and go back to back for the 99, getting those points. Very crucial again. You get that 10 bonus points for winning a stage. It's okay if you have a bad race. Those bonus points can practically carry you to a better finish, in theory, of how you could have been if you have a bad night like the 99 did have last week. Caught up in the mess with Trenton Jump, but tonight it is all about making it to the end of this race. Still a long race to go. Less than 100 laps to go, and less now than 5 laps to go for who's going to win this race. 4 to go for Nick Crawford to hold off the 99. Schaefer, this is a power move for the 99. Started back in 8th place, marched his way to 1st, then had to lose it because of pit stops, and has to figure out where it was the best position to make this pass, as he's trying to find that little bit of extra motivation to get by with 3 laps to go in the stage.
He's going to have to find something here, Sam. 3 laps to go. Going to look to the inside here down in 1 and 2. And I think this is what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to get to that quarter panel, but right there gets tight. Once he gets right up behind the 74, going to lose all the momentum off of turn 2. And Nick Crawford's going to open up the gap as they head to 3 and 4. But I think it's going to have to be a move.
It's going to have to be a big move if he's going to make that pass. As drivers having some slight issues popping up. That is something also that could be striking as well. We are having, like I said, storms are brewing in real life. A lot on the East Coast. Zach Hall dealing with some issues. Our producer as well has been worrisome of storms. And about 4 drivers, once Zach kind of popped away for a second, all had a major blip. So storms are going to be scary because drivers are hoping they could stay in this race as 2 laps to go before we find out who's going to win this stage here tonight. And a lap 60 for themselves. Nick Crawford leading the charge as he's going to be coming across the line. It's the white flag of the stage. Last opportunity for the 99 to get this pass done. There's also, before the yellow is thrown, we have to wait until 10th place crosses the line, which is Noah Steele currently. As heading through that 1 and 2, Nick Crawford, Chase Schaefer, old and steady. The 74 trying to get his first stage win of season 5. The 99 trying to get his second of the season. As they're heading through 3 and 4, Nick Crawford hits his marks. Give him the stage win here at the Not Blackjack ISRC Throwback race in Las Vegas. The 74 crosses the line, and now all eyes push back to 8th position. Noah Steele now coming across the line for himself, as he will find himself getting 10th position, that last crucial bonus point, and that will be our stage. Zach, what a run we got to see there at the end.
It was really an amazing one there, man. Schaefer made him work, and that's the key you got to do, because now you're learning for later in this race. If it comes down to some situation like that, what will I need to be able to do better to get past that 74? But Nick Crawford trying to break that trend, like we said there, Sam, of those, championship winners coming back the next season and really struggling.
With that, Nick Crawford will be getting first for the stage. Chase Schaefer second. Ollie Fonseca will take third. Matt Dyer fourth. Fifth goes Scott Rochelle. Christopher Norris sixth. Seventh, Ryan Bird. TJ Crampton in 8th. 9th is Joshua Kanata. And take the final bonus point, Noah Steele in 10th place. That is your rundown of the Team Watson Racing setup stage break. If you'd like to go get yourself some custom setups, go head over to teamwatsonracing.com and go check out some of the best that you can find in setups. As Team Watson also major help in the road course setups the drivers got to run. And thank you again to all that what Team Watson Racing Setups does for these drivers, as well as all the other major sponsors we have for the ISRC Truck Series. Lariat Productions being the title sponsor of Season 5 for the ISRC Truck Series. If you'd like to go check out some great variety YouTube videos as such as food reviews, comedy skits, and more, go check out Lariat Productions today. As the drivers enter pit road, Nick Crawford with the win, but Zach, crucial pit stop for a lot of these drivers.
Cannot slide through that box. You want to keep the track position you had, but you got to get in there fast and then not go too far. And I think looks like most of our front runners have done a good job. Luckily, Las Vegas has some of the biggest pit boxes in all of the NASCAR circuit. I think that really helped a lot of them not make those mistakes. But it looks like here the fight off pit road is going to be interesting. It's going to be close between that 74 and the 99, but it looks like the 74, he'll hold on to that spot.
Nick Crawford just by a nose. See the rest of the field racing their way out of their boxes. Nick Crawford, Chase Schaefer, Matt Dyer able to get by Ollie Fonseca. Fonseca falling all the way back to 6th position. Not a strong stop for himself. Looked to be a little bit slow getting in and out of his box. But hey, we now have our winner. And with seeing Nick Crawford in the Discord, we can talk to our stage winner here this evening. So let's see if we can queue up the 74, get his thoughts on the first 60 laps of this race. Nick, is Sam and Zach up at the booth? You got us?
All right, guys. No barking dogs this time.
Hey, that's good to hear, Nick. Tonight, you find yourselves getting the stage win. Man, how's this truck feeling? Because you looked good so far.
Oh, it's terrible. It's probably the tightest truck I've ever run here at Las Vegas. But it's a game of dirty air right now, and if you can be in front, you get the benefits of saving tires and controlling the dirty air. So it's just really tight, but it's gonna get a little bit crazier, I think.
Yeah, Nick, you talk about that clean air and dirty air. I mean, you got the experience before that first pit stop, in that third place position for majority of it, that dirty air. Then you had the clean air there for majority of that last part of the run before the end of the stage. Take us through the differences of what the truck feels like in the dirty air compared to out of.
When you're in dirty air, it just feels like your options are a little more limited. You have to try and find an opening, and if there's two cars in front of you, you kind of just gotta back up. But once you're in front, you can almost drive anywhere on the track you want to, except for the bottom of 1 and 2. But yeah, for the last part of that run, I was just playing with Chase and just trying to cut off his air supply whenever I could. So yeah, definitely being in front is better.
Well, Nick, it's been great to watch you performing here tonight. Hoping that we don't commentators curse you like we did last week. How are you feeling, though, on this next restart, on your confidence level to keep this lead position?
It's kind of like a super speedway, so I don't expect to keep it. There's a long way to go, and we still got a whole pit stop, and it's going to be pretty close on fuel, I think. So it's just about being patient right now, and I think I'll start on the inside here and give your brother a little boost, maybe, and get him up here in second.
And we're hoping for the best. Nick, we'll send you back to your team, and good luck on this restart.
Thank you, guys.
That is going to be the 74 of Nick Crawford from the Snowy Desert Racing by Revline as well. I mean, Zach, hearing from Nick Crawford, kind of opposite from what I was expecting to hear, but 74, it sounds like he's ready for this restart.
That he really is, man. It sounds like he's geared up, ready to go. He knows what he needs to do, and sounds like that game of playing, getting out front, trying to hold the position, because you got to use the tires to get out there. That's always the predicament, is you got to use the tires to get to the lead, but once you get there, saving the tires becomes a breeze just because of all that clean air and downforce that your trucks makes. So I think that lead position is going to be so coveted that all these drivers, we may have a little bit of a tussle go down for that lead. And Nick Crawford just brought up there Matt Dyer. What a great run for him in that stage it was. With that undercut strategy, he was able to really jump forward.
Yeah, really able to jump forward, and we're excited to see how well they're going to run. You know what? Let's try something new. We've been testing about it. I think this could be the time to do it. If you want to hear the rumblings of these trucks around this course, let's try to crank it up on this restart. You are watching the ISRC Larry Productions Truck Series. It's our first Crank It Up of Season 5. Enjoy this restart, as it's going to be Nick Crawford, Chase Schaefer, taking you to the green.
Green, green, green.
Cranking it up, and the driver's getting you excited. There's some 3-wide, 2-wide action, and right now it's Nick Crawford leading the way. Matt Dyer trying to make the pass, and Matt Dyer breaking, snapping loose in the middle of the corner. Ollie Fonseca, Kyle Rochelle react proper, and somehow they hold on. And oh boy, they're going to get 3 wide once again. Matt Dyer's momentum still lost, and they're going to be scattering and wrecking, and somehow they hold it steady again.
How are they saving these things? First it's Matt Dyer, then it's Ryan Bird and Joshua Kanata, both all three of them are going to say excellent saves, and we stay green as they head into 1 and 2. They're not done yet, though. They're trying to all figure it out back here around the 11th and 12th position. Everybody scattering.
Trying to steal every spot. You see an opening, you duck down low, you duck high, you find every spot possible, and there's some aggressive drivers mixed in between as they get themselves back in line side by side. The 3 wide is when you're most nervous, but it was Matt Dyer just simply losing it by himself in the middle of the corner that set off that whole entire chain reaction. And now you see everyone getting in their spots, but for the lead, Chase Schaefer trying to take the lead spot for himself as he will be doing a slide job move. Not going to work. Nick Crawford now bouncing to the inside. Nick Crawford still wanting to keep this lead position as Ollie Fonseca getting the mix for the lead spot, but there's the wreck scattering, and it is a chaotic mess of seeing a driver stuck on the outside. That's the 17, Mason Cassidy.
Oh, man, at some point, push came to shove, and we've seen our first real wreck of the night that brings out a yellow. And man, that was just tight racing back around the 16th to 17th position that really just ended up biting a few of these guys back here around here. And really tough to see someone like Cody Smith involved in this in the 7 machine, because that 4th place qualifying position now kind of thrown out the window.
We're getting the instant replay up. These drivers were all battling around that 15th, 16th position. Drivers heavily involved. Going to be Cassidy in the 17, the 7, as well as Smith and Cody Reed getting a large chunk of the mess. Could have been a lot worse. As we take a look here, going to be seeing the 7 and the 17 side by side, but it's the 25 makes a darting move to the inside. Thought he was going to be clear, and looked to be a little bit of what we call wind action, Zach, that gets the 17 truly spun around.
Yeah, that little bit of arrow there playing off their noses and just sucks that 17 around, and away he goes into that 7, and it's just a chain reaction event there. And when you're racing this close, arrow events like that are known to happen, man. So it's not surprising, but it's at the same time just so unfortunate to see for a few of these guys who had great starts to their night, but right now, halfway through this thing almost, they are in a pretty bad predicament, as we'll get to see a second shot here of this, Sam, and get to see really how it played out from this aerial view. As you're going to see that red truck there, that's Cody Reed, and you'll see just slight bits of arrow contact here maybe by these guys as it sucks that 17 around right into the 7.
I mean, it goes down low, and, that action of if you're next to a driver that just flies by, you feel that wind shuffle you, and kind of close to that of action of seeing the 25 come down, just blocking the air, coming down and getting the 17 looped, bringing out the first official on-track incident to bring out a yellow. Going to be our second of the day. And with the timing of this yellow, we heard from Nick Crawford when we were talking to him when he won the stage, Zach, the fact of feeling he was going to be close on fuel. This yellow might make things a little bit more interesting if anyone wants to come in, top off on fuel, or this just helps out on making sure this race is a one-stop.
I think this is definitely going to help out making sure of it, and anybody that comes down and tops off now, personally, they're just going to gain some balance adjustment. When you put the weight of that fuel in that fuel tank, it can weigh down on the rear tires and actually help turn the truck just a little bit by getting that spoiler out there and actually lowering the rear ride height. So it can actually be somewhat of a balance adjustment even to these drivers, and I think some of the guys out back will take advantage of getting as much fuel packed in that truck as possible to see if they can get some type of caution to help them later in this race. But right now, I think we're firmly at a one stop unless some type of yellow comes out around that lap 55 to go or so mark. We could see some definitely interesting strategies from a few drivers if that happens.
Well, also with the timing of this yellow, allowing some drivers to get back onto the lead lap, or at least get a lap back for themselves. Currently an update on drivers that are a lap down, going to be out of the 5 machine of Dakota Moniz, as well as Tyler Horn and Danny Cochran, all 1 or more laps down. Tyler Horn 2 laps down, Danny Cochran still 3, and also going to be able to get some more damage repair with this yellow flag. And other drivers that have trying to make their way forward, biggest movers of the race, Matt Dyer, Eric Stamp, both up 13 positions in 6th and 7th spot. 2 drivers that have raced around one another in plenty of other leagues, and I thought they were going to be the cause of the mess with the way they were bump drafting with one another. And I gotta say, Zach, that's probably the biggest surprise for me of the night. Might be how aggressively pushing we're seeing these drivers here this evening.
they're willing to use the bumpers. That's for sure. They know how valuable each and every position is. That's kind of why, as a driver, when you have this style racing, you kind of gotta, turn off your normal etiquette that you would have at a racetrack where, hey, you're faster than me, I'll let you go by. No, there's none of that. Any position you give up here or don't gain here on these restarts, it just comes back to bite you. So you have to really go out there, put everything on the line, and that's why you see the pushing, the shoving, the crossovers, the slide jobs, all the maneuvers that you have to do to make those positions up. And I'm seeing a few names up there that I think may get a little aggressive here and try to make up even more spots. Some guys like Mark Whitley, who stayed out super long. I think he noticed, you know what, getting up front is going to be the way to go. He's up to that 8th position now. Let's see what the 77 can try to produce on this next restart, because we've always seen once he gets out front, he's tough to beat.
He certainly is. He's probably the best driver once he's in clean air. When and if will he get up to that top position? Up front going to be Nick Crawford, Chase Schaefer. They've been the top two for the majority of the night. And they continue to stay in this lead position. We're about to see these drivers pull off. Want to give, again, a huge shout out to all the major sponsors for the ISRC Truck Series, that being Lariat Productions being the title sponsor of the Truck Series, as well as Orchid Moon Tattoo Studios being the qualifying sponsor, and to Team Watson Racing Setups being the stage break sponsor. Plenty of others we'll shout out later on as we officially hit the halfway marker on this restart. Here we go, as the leaders are making contact, and across the line, Nick Crawford piling in the rest of the field, and we stay green. There goes the yellow, and a first admin yellow thrown because that restart was not good.
Oh, man. Everything just got turned on side of his head, and that, from first glance of what I looked at, it looked like maybe we had a little bit more of that wind playing out between a few of these trucks up front, and oh man, this has changed the whole complexion of this race. I mean, you got guys with damage that didn't have damage before. You got, Nick Crawford going for the lead, winning the stage, and looks like that trend of the champion from the past season before, it is continuing over.
That was an ugly, ugly restart. We're going to be getting the replay for you here as quickly as we can. A lot of drivers. I mean, I'm trying to count how many drivers were involved with that, Zach. I mean, I'm up to 9 drivers involved. Luckily, no one with required damage, but optional, that arrow-wise that we were talking about, it just grows more and more, and this is terrible to see for a lot of these drivers as we take our first look at this incident. You can touch on it, the quote-unquote air that we're looking at.
Yeah, you'll see this right here in this restart. It's going to be, close action. They're trying to get going. It looks like when Nick Crawford goes, he maybe goes to the right just a tiny bit. That brings him over to the 99, sucks him around, and they kind of get just stuck at that point once they're together. And from there, Nick Crawford's trying to get off them. Same with Chase, and they can't do that. And the pileup comes from the drivers restarting from behind. The green flag's out. You can't see up far ahead of you, especially in a lot of the positionings where you're just behind the spooler in front of you, and it makes it tough to see what's happening. And right here, this sends everybody in the grass. I mean, 2 snowy desert racing trucks really hurt in this one right here.
And I also, when I was riding on board and taking a different look at it, I think Nick Crawford might have been doing a restart in first gear. That could have been another factor on that, where drivers, that's a risky call to take. For some, that's an advantage that you want to throw out and go after, and it backfired horrendously as a lot of drivers into pit road to get repairs done. And this shot will see the aftermath of everyone just scattering the best that they can to get through. Matt Dyer, probably the luckiest driver of those on the outside, able to sneak by. Mark Whitley gets a little bit of that mess, as well as Kyle Rochelle getting the majority of it, as everyone just scatters through the grass. And that brings out our third caution of the day, as few drivers decided to come into pit road. No surprise on that. It's going to be Ryan Bird leading the charge, chopping off on fuel, but everyone 20th on back, all coming to get some type of major or slight damage repair.
Interesting calls being made for sure there. I mean, with where this is at, especially someone I look at, like someone like Mark Whitley, he really was in that wreck, but really got no damage from it from what I was looking at. So interesting calls here to come down pit road here and get these trucks looked at. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at someone that definitely, got out of there lucky, that was definitely Matt Dyer. Everything broke loose right in front of him as he was able to just narrowly escape disaster. Now he's going to restart in second.
Restarting in second, and See how these drivers want to react on this restart. And now Ollie Fonseca going to be in the catbird seat for this restart. A lot of different movers now have cracked into the top 8, and this is what Las Vegas turns into after the halfway marker. You never know what's going to happen at this track. We've seen intent wrecks. We've seen teammates take each other out for the win. We've seen just pure drama in overtime at this course. And now we've got a driver that qualified 14th and a driver that qualified 19th going to be our front runners on this restart.
That is wild to hear. I mean, can Christopher Norris go out here and get a second win in a row? I mean, you know he would want to do that because it'd be the first technical race that he's actually won on a non-super speedway rules package. So, you know, this track race is similar to super speedway tracks, but they're on a different rules package, so it would count a little bit different with that intermediate, you know, package that they have. So Christopher Norris, I know he's going to be gunning for that. Even Chase Schaefer there, I mean, he was so fast, and really looking at his truck, got really no damage from any of that incident there. Just kind of lost some track position. I think this 99 could be a favorite to look out for now too, with Nick Crawford out of the talks.
Chase Schaefer, I mean, we saw Matt Dyer and Joshua Kanata get mixed in with one another earlier. I mean, right after some incidences. We'll see how well they're going to react. Looking, though, at the drivers that are up front and some of the damage that they're working with, I believe Matt Dyer will be working with some rear-end damage for himself. Back end completely pushed in. So the 28, he might be having a little bit of a parachute to watch out for. So this outside lane may be even more concerned than anything else for themselves, as Ollie Fonseca up front and ready for this restart. Where will you place yourself is going to be the key thing, as everyone is getting set. I mean, Zach, those 8 cautions, we've seen it be the trend. And we're aiming towards it now, it looks like.
We're slowly catching up to that for sure. We're if this trend is continuing, I think we could get there for sure. That first stage, I was not sure, but I tell you what, from what we've seen here in the past few restarts, I think this is not definitely the last time we see the yellow here tonight. I think it could be very quickly out once again, because these drivers are going to know what's on the line now that they got pushed up here.
I mean, I was talking to the drivers. I was telling them, hey, there's a chance we could see a good green flag run and then chaos just reign. And a lot of them were kind of shaking their heads saying, no, that it's going to be constant chaos throughout the whole entire race. Well, we got a decent green flag run to start this race off. After the stage, it has been chaos. And here we go for another restart, as it's going to be an Ollie Fonseca, Matt Dyer side by side, and it's the 24 with the best launch. Now Matt Dyer has to defend. Christopher Norris, winner from last week. We're seeing already 3 wide. Schaefer's not waiting for anything. The 99 wants that third lane as they go through 1 and 2.
That 99 has been aggressive all night, and he's continuing that trend. He isn't giving up after being involved in that incident, as he's fighting back down the back straightaway, but it's up front. Christopher Norris trying to take the lead from the 29, but farther back there's contact being made as Ryan Ferraro is just in the middle. And
there they go. Chaos. Drivers into the wall, almost flipping, more piling in, and there's just no stopping for some, and that is the biggest wreck of the night. Multiple drivers require damage popping up, and others just calling it a night already.
Oh man, this was a major incident right there, and I felt like that was breeding for sure, or beginning to bubble up there for the first few seconds. And it was just Ryan Ferraro, I mean, just in the middle right there, and kind of getting squeezed by drivers all around him. And when there's no space to be given, there's going to be incidents just like this one.
Austin Halsey, Nick Crawford, Ryan Bird, and Blake Hoppy, going to be the 4 drivers require damage. They are forced into pit road. So we're getting the instant replay up. Ryan Bird has already left the session. That 49 is done for this evening. Qualified in 12th, was trying to get up front, never really truly could get his footing to be staying inside of the top 10 throughout this race. He will now be done for this evening. And now the question now looms to the other drivers that are going to be involved with this, as 13th on back, all into pit road to get service done. And here's what brought out the caution here in the big one at Las Vegas.
Well, you'll see here again that squeezing. Like I said, it was Ferraro in the 34 on the bottom, the 46 of Trenton Jump going by on the inside, but the 98 of Malik Kuntz, I don't know if he didn't know the 34, had a car to his inside, but he squeezed him so tight that it shoves him down here across the 6's nose, I believe. And from there, it's just everything going to break loose. You're going to see the stack up on the bottom lane, just drivers trying to slow down. Mark Whitley, multiple of them. Nick Crawford's going to come sliding in here. TJ Crampton trying to hold it on the bottom there. And you see Blake Hoppy up top there to 31. He went for a ride. It's just nowhere to go for all these drivers, Sam.
I mean, Halsey and Crawford both looked like they were going to get through, but the contact between them sent them right into the mess, and it just continued to balloon out, getting worse and worse as the runs continued on. And man, that is another disgusting type of a wreck to see. Not something that I think this was more of a traditional wreck we were expecting to see, than what that restart was. And now another driver calling it a night. That's going to be the 23 of Blake Hoppy, who's done for this evening. Austin Halsey might be trying to get back out there, as well as Nick Crawford has gotten his required damage done. He's now working on optional. Well, we're 82 laps already done and dusted. We're past the halfway marker. We are going to step aside. When we come back, we'll give you more racing coverage here on Freaking Fast Broadcasting. You're watching the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series, race number 2 of Season 5. We'll be back right after this. And we're back to green flag action. Christopher Norris aggressively to the inside with Holly Fonseca trying to take this lead position. The 24 gifted this spot after 2 cautions ago. Restart issues with Nick Crawford and the 99 of Chase Schaefer has now enabled the rest of the field to feel like they've got a chance for the win, and the 38 of the 24 not giving any space to one another as the rest of the field is well on top, and we could be seeing a wreck at any moment. My name is Sam Dyer, and speaking of a wreck, there it is as they're piling in back half of the field, and it's another big one.
Oh man. Well, Sam, we talked about the 8 getting closer. It's getting closer and closer by the minute here as we tick them off. And unfortunately, I think it was the 7 of Cody Smith that just went around here and brought out this show, and they piled in there pretty good after that too. The fact, and there was some pretty big hits once again, and Las Vegas living up to the old terms of drama for sure, because I think we might have some upset drivers leaving here tonight, Sam.
That is for sure, and it's going to be the 7 who initially gets involved, starting this one all off. And there's some drivers, Zach, we haven't talked about ARCA braking in a while, but there are some pretty nasty ones that happen late in this race with surprising names being caught up in it. But here's what initially started all the calamity in the back half of the field.
Here, we'll see what happens. Look, right in the middle of the corner, cold tires. That 7 steps out, and he's going to come down. I believe that's into Mark Whitley there, almost Dakota Moniz. The 72 of Crampton looks like he'll get by, and it's just going to have this 7 in an everlasting spin here with the 77 there. Really nowhere to go for Whitley, as you're going to see now more drivers going to pile into it. And like you said, Sam, some big ARCA breaks here. I think maybe even one of them is Nick Crawford. You're going to see coming to the background as look at him coming into the picture trying to miss it, and unfortunately, he's just going to get it wrong.
Yeah, he's going to be running right in to his teammate, which is wild to see. Runs right into John Forbes and drivers that are notoriously known for being up front and not being involved in these major issues, being got up late and just showing, when drivers are not predicting some of these wrecks, it's hard to slow down in time. As we're hopping on board Nick Crawford, getting a sense on how he's trying to slow down, and it's just nowhere to go and just piles in it. I'm interested on if maybe the 74 didn't even know there was a wreck in front of him with the way he was running there.
I kind of think that's what happened, Sam. I don't, sometimes you can get so distracted in the sim, especially when your truck's hurt and damaged. You can get distracted trying to look at stuff maybe on your relative, maybe stuff around you, and you can kind of not look forward. And I think maybe that's what happened, because I don't think Crawford seen that till literally the blue truck ahead of him, which I believe was Eric Stamp. Until he's seen that blue truck directly ahead, I think he found out, oh man, this is not going good. Everybody stopped right up ahead, and uncharacteristic there from Nick Crawford, and possibly going to warrant a penalty for sure. But sometimes you make those simple mistakes, and it shows you it can come from the best of the drivers.
That it could, and already Mark Whitley caught up in that mess, and Mason Cassidy both have called it a night and are done. They've left the server, the session. And leading the race currently, it's the 38 of Christopher Norris at the timing of that yellow coming out.
What a timing for him. I mean, his teammate involved in it, but actually a couple of his teammates involved in that latest incident, and he's right up here feeling the glory of it. So that's always great timing when you get that lead, or you're in the lead and the yellow does fly, because now he'll have control of this restart. And I think the biggest thing is what everybody's looking for control is control of this field. So we'll see who can do the best to get that job done. But we are getting closer and closer to that mark where if we get a caution here in the next couple laps, people could start to think about trying to save fuel to make it to the end of this race.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the interesting timing of when do you want to come into pit road? Do you bank on a caution to come out that forces you into your pit stop? Or do you decide to just wait for a green flag run and then make your stop for yourself? And as well, drivers we haven't talked about all night long, now up inside of the top 10, 7th place runner, Mark Morales. What a run for the one. He's trying to carry over the momentum that he had at the end of last season, where he was just knocking off top 10 after top 10 and was having one of his best runs out of end of a season yet in the ISRC Truck Series. He's hoping for that to continue here in season 5. Malik Kuntz is inside of the top 10 for the 98. Trent Jump, who started all the way back in last place, is now up to 9th, and Logan Brakey as well up inside of the top 10.
Well, and looking at him pacing right here too, Sam, this is a little bit of driver psychology here for everyone out there looking into it. But these drivers have been pacing side by side from like the first 4 or 5 rows for the last 2 laps. That tells me everybody here is a little bit impatient. They're trying to get ready to go. They're getting double file before it's even double file time. I think we may see a little bit more action even play out from here on out, because again, just sometimes the body language of drivers, and it's just the way they're positioning themselves. It looks like everybody's ready to get this race back under green flag action. And then that's when that patience meter can run out. And when the patience meter runs out, you're going to see people taking advantage of people. And that's where it gets a little bit ugly. So we'll see if it spirals out here or we continue green and get to some green flag pit stops, because nobody can make it from here on fuel.
I mean, the top five, those drivers, we got 2 rookies that are in the mix, Chase Schaefer, Matt Dyer, that have shown in their own different ways willing to be aggressive. Schaefer showing on track he's willing to be aggressive. Matt Dyer showing off track he's willing to be aggressive. GT Irizarry knows that he can make some power moves if necessary. Olive Fonseca trying to find a little bit more aggression if possible here this evening. Christopher Norris has already shown he's willing to make some bold moves as he's placed himself in this lead position. And it's time to see how this restart is going to handle as the 38 is off for the not Blackjack ISRC Throwback at Las Vegas. It's Christopher Norris leading the way down into turn number 1.
That 99 there in that second row on the outside was already looking to make it 3 wide. He does now stick it through the middle 3 wide. Chase Schaefer taking no prisoners here in this race and taking every chance available to him. And now he's going to have a good run down the back straightaway. And this is not what Christopher Norris wants to see, because he's building up a little bit of a gap here. When they do single file out for second here in the next few moments, they're going to have a huge run on the 38.
Or will they? GT Irizarry trying to hold steady on the inside. Schaefer building up the momentum on the outer groove on the exit of the corner. And the 99 having to help also with the draft as Olive Fonseca back bump, wiggle lane for himself. Schaefer holds steady, and here comes that gap. It is gone, dusted, and it's the 99 on the outside. Here comes Schaefer to the point.
Oh, man, he got there so quickly with the push of the 24, and now he's going to be able to the outside quarter panel of that 38. And this is not what Christopher Norris needed. He wanted to be able to hold the outside groove and control this race. Now he's going to be stuck on the bottom here, and you may see these guys freight train this bottom groove just a little bit, getting lined up on this outside here. As they enter into 1, you can see, again, that top side just has so much momentum down the straightaways.
On the straightaways, it's there. The one thing I'm concerned about for Christopher Norris, he's not really getting any help. GT Irizarry trying to find a way to slot himself in that outside lane. It's the opening's just not there. He's being stalled out by Joshua Kanata, who finally gets in that upper lane. Schaefer clearing, takes the lead. Olive Fonseca now hoping for some assistance from the 28 of Matt Dyer, but Dyer's not close enough as Christopher Norris almost breaking loose, but keeps a nose side by side with the 24.
Big blocks being thrown by the 99 onto the 24. That checks up that whole outside line. Now the 38 fights back on the inside, and it's a 3-way battle for this lead, because Fonseca, I think he's not liking how the 99 has closed the door on him a few times. I wonder if he'll help push this 38.
Oh boy, I mean the 99 Schaefer Trent Jump dumped him once they were battling for the lead, but will we see another potential dump if the 99 continues with his blocking ways? We know he can be aggressive on these power moves. And just in his second race in the ISRC Truck Series, Schaefer looks to be the most aggressive driver as we're 3 wide now for 3rd place. A little contact between Olive Fonseca, GT Irizarry, and Matt Dyer taking the advantage up to 3rd now.
And look, here comes Trenton Jump, had that penalty for being over aggressive. He's going to get aggressive here on the bottom now and try to make his move for the 4th position. And Matt Dyer, even with the run he had, he's almost pushed up to the inside of Schaefer now as Norris has took the lead back up front.
Matt Dyer, all he needs to do is finally get the looseness out of the tires, and once it's stable, he is one of the fastest drivers. Driver, though, up in the outside wall. It's going to be Dakota Moniz who falls back. He'll keep us green, though, as he does not break sideways. As, oh boy, are those Armadillo drivers in the blue and black. They are trying to march their way together. That's Noah Steele, Trent Jump. They're making some great moves, but it's Matt Dyer, Schaefer, a little bit of contact.
Yeah, Schaefer there just closing the door on Matt Dyer when he was there on the inside. And man, that was almost a huge incident. As now in the front straightaway here, they're almost wrecking too. This is getting a little bit dicey here, and I think we could be seeing a yellow here in the next few moments.
Countdown. When is the big one going to strike? 3 wide, and it's going to be GT Irizarry in an Armadillo Motorsports sandwich. Stuck in the middle as he's got that Trent Jump on the outside. Noah Steele on the inside. Matt Dyer just trying to hold steady on that middle groove for the 28 for 4th place. And Schaefer has found another win. He's now to the quarter panel of Olive Fonseca.
Fonseca there trying to fight past them and try to clear to go up here and battle Christopher Norris, but Schaefer is trying to pull him back, and right here is going to be a little bit better positioning. The 24 does get clear, and the 99 kind of struggling right now, which is surprising to see because I felt like he was just so strong there for the first few moments of a run. Right now, it seems like that 99 kind of struggling to take back off here. His Dyer's going to be almost back to the outside of him. Will get to the outside.
It's the outside. Oh no, they're wrecking behind. It's Malik Coates, Noah Steele, caught up in a mess.
Big incident there. I mean, that was a heavy collision. Look at that truck. It is destroyed, and that's welcome to the new iRacing damage model. There's parts and pieces of that 8 machine all over that turn 4 exit.
Drivers trying to get around the 98 machine and Noah Steele. Another early race in a season where he's caught up in a mess. He was trying to move forward with his teammate to Trenton jump, but it did not square well. Malik Coates somehow, I mean, with the 98, not as bad damage as I thought he was going to have, but it is required. He's going to have to hit pit road.
That he will, because I think it was the second hit when we get to see this that really is the one that gives him that required damage. I don't know if it was under frustration or just the way that the 8 bounces off the wall, but this kind of really all stems from down the back straightaway of the racing that the 8 and the 98 were doing. They were really being tough with side drafting, especially around the entry of the corners. The 8 was trying to take away a little room from the 98. The 98 was trying to take away a little room from the 8. And when that happens, when you have both drivers taking and no one giving, this is the situation you have. See, because you enter 3 here, the 98, I mean, he is on the door of the 8. The 8, a little bit higher up the racetrack than you see the 14 up ahead. So a little bit higher arcing of an entry, and maybe that's what the 98 is expecting. But that contact gets that 8 loose and sends him down the racetrack. And right here, he's going to step out once again. You see the right rear just flirting with the left front of that 98, and it's going to clip it. And from here, this is going to be a head-on collision with this angle. Look how hard this hit is.
Puts him in the sky, all 4 tires up in the air, doing a little bit of a grind on the safer barrier wall, and finally comes settling down. But that second contact we were talking about, Noah Steele just letting the 8 glide, doesn't hit the brakes, lets it fall back down, and Malik Coates going to be making contact with the 8 right here that we believe caused that fatal required damage flag for the 98 to come into pit road.
Major damage for both those guys, and pretty much, in my opinion, night over for both of them. So Noah Steele has already put his car behind the wall. It's just ended up to be a little bit of a pileup of a junkyard here for some of these trucks, and looks like right now with the timing of this yellow, I think this is, again, where the strategy is going to kick out, because right here around lap 50, I've heard lap 47 is around where these drivers can make it. That's why you're seeing, I think, a lot of drivers right here, right now, topping off these trucks, getting as much fuel packed in them.
And into pit road, going to be everyone except for the 21 of Kyle Rochelle. Rochelle decided to stay out, and he's going to be on 19-lap older tires than the rest of the field. Yes, we've had a couple of cautions here or there that's enabled these tires to last a little bit longer, but this is going to be an interesting call by the 21 if he does decide to stay out on this restart.
It will be an interesting one, to say the least. I don't know how much speed he'll have here to take off. We've had a lot of caution laps during those 19 laps, but at the same time, we had a decent bit of green flag racing right there before this latest yellow. So I think he'll definitely feel the brunt of that. I think he'll take off well, but after about down to 3 and 4, probably after the tires start to warm up from behind, we'll start to see these guys really rocket past that 21 of Kyle Rochelle. But you know, it's not the worst strategy, in my opinion, from Rochelle here, because we're right on that edge of the window of almost making it on fuel. And right here, with how the racing's been, I don't think you can race to save fuel here, because if you race to save fuel and we get a yellow, then you just giving up track position that could be so vital to have if we get yellows anyways. So, you know, it's one of those things, the situations where these drivers got to weigh the options. Do you go up there and save, or do you go up there and try to lead? I think the best positioning if you're up front is just to get out front. And, you know, most likely, it's from what we've seen so far, you're probably going to get a yellow that will help you, you know, get back down pit road to get the fuel you need.
We've had our now 6th caution counting this one of the day. Looking at the trends, we've been talking about it all night long. If you're just joining us, welcome to the final third of the race for the Not Blackjack ISRC Throwback at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the second race of the season for the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series. A lot of different swap up of drivers being up front, falling back. We've had plenty of big wrecks recently. We got to run majority of the stage caution free. Did have a couple of scares that didn't bring out yellows, but the field. Got to run the first 60 laps clean and green. Since then, it has been difficult to run anything more than 5 laps without a major wreck. And currently, it's Kyle Rochelle leading the charge. He's on much older tires than the rest of the field. Looks to be 18-lap older tires. So watch out for the 21 on this restart. He will be on the inside lane. That of Chase Schaefer in the 99 has been the fastest driver that's still out on track. Watch out for his aggression. He's willing to go 3 wide whenever it's necessary. And this could be another major wreck to watch out for. Cold tires have been the most dangerous, and practically the whole entire field just took their 3rd set. They got 1 more left in pit road to work with. And can we make it to the end of this race, or will we need another caution, another pit stop? It's time to find out. Pace cars off the track. It's time for the not Blackjack ISRC Throwback at Las Vegas to go green. As into the restart zone, Kyle Rochelle, a decent launch, but Christopher Norris keeping himself right there with the 21.
Right to the left rear quarter or right rear quarter panel, and that's going to give him the run he needs. His side draft here down into 1 and 2. And where does Schaefer go? Does he bounce it to the 3rd lane here, or does he push the 38? I think right now he's just going to elude the push him, but a 24 looking to jump in behind before the 46 gets there because it's stacking up. They want to get out of the way of this 21 and go forward.
Just hit the Jaws music because the driver keeps on stopping. That of Trenton Jump and Schaefer to get close to one another. Those are the 2 drivers that had major beef after last week's race at Daytona. And we're now going to be going 3 wide for the lead. Chase Schaefer, Christopher Norris, Tully Fonseca from 3rd to the lead. What a move by the 24 as the drivers continue to race this one out of turn number 2. One driver to the outside wall, that's Matt Dyer, who's losing momentum, but Ollie Fonseca might have the move of the race right there.
That is possibly the move of the season with that already. I mean, it's early to the season, so it's easy to have that, but wow, what a power move he did. And look, maybe Schaefer going to take note of that now. He dives to the inside here, and we're going to have a battle down in the 1 once again as even the battle for 3rd is on.
The apron that's looked dangerous from lap 1. Some drivers recognizing, hey, it's worth the danger if you're going to make a pass for the lead. Ollie Fonseca crossover move off the exit of turn number 2. As the 24 looking for some assistance. Instead, we're going to have Schaefer, Trent Jump, once were rivals last week, now might have to work as alliance as they come out of turn number 4.
Oh, and you can see he's giving him the bumper already, shoving him. That 46 is definitely sending a message here already saying he's here to win this race. And I tell you what, I watched his lap times in that first stage of this race all by himself. He was able to run lap times just as fast as our leaders and sometimes even faster. This 46 is going to be a contender here coming down to the end.
They're almost making contact every time they enter the corner, and Ollie Fonseca defending, hoping the side draft is going to keep them side by side. Will do so, and here comes Trent Jump, aggressively from the top to the bottom. Now 3 wide for the lead once again. Ollie Fonseca not able to go down to the apron, forcing Schaefer to stay high, and they're 3 wide in the entry turn 1. Trent Jump started all the way back in last place, couldn't qualify, and he's got a nose for the lead now.
He said he wanted to go from last to first challenge here for him. Well, it's on right now as that move he made has been one we've seen happen a few times already, guys, dropping it below that apron 3 wide. But here off of 4, it gets tight. That 46 almost into the 24's door, and they hit and bang. They were coming off the turn 4.
That's going to kill the momentum. Chase Schaefer now back into the mix. Top 3 drivers. How are they surviving? He'll fall back to 4th. Where did he come from? It's the one on Martin Morales now entering the mix for our top 3.
This could be a career night for this driver. Morales has come close before and been kind of taken out when he had his best opportunities to get the win. Right now, he's up here in the mix, and he's definitely flying. You know, my question is, are we seeing some drivers save a little bit? Are we seeing some, try to stretch the fuel? Or are they saving the tires because they see what's going on up front here?
It's got to be a fuel-saving decision because the drivers were going to be about 2 laps shy for making it to the end of this race if we stayed green from the last time they came into pit road. And Ollie Fonseca, Schaefer, Trent Jump, they're going to race this one out, thinking that drivers are going to be forced into pit road at some time. Martin Morales being aggressive here as they bump once again off the exit of turn 4. Ollie Fonseca and Trent Jump, they are still fighting this one out. And Zach, they've had their bickers. That bump by Schaefer to Ollie, though.
I tell you what, this right here push is going to come to shove here in a moment, and these drivers are going to end up in that outside wall as Fonseca tied off of 2. That allowed the 46 to get a good run, but you see the push from the 99 just propels the 24 back all the way ahead of this 46, and it's been tight off of 4 here each and every lap. Fonseca is not giving room on the exit. I mean, you can see they're keeping it so far off the wall. Normally you'd wash up there, but Fonseca doing everything in his power to cut off that run from the bottom side.
And Schaefer wants to bounce to the third lane, but just doesn't have the momentum at the right time to make that move forward. Mark Morales now going to be going to the inside of the 99, who are right on board. Schaefer, we know that he can be quick, but as his tires finally hit that plateau marker where he just can't make the push or the pass at this time, he can just only settle at this moment.
Settling is definitely what he's doing right now. We'll see how long that's for, because he hasn't settled much during this race, but he might just have to, with the 2 right in front of him beat and bang and end into 1 and 2. And if something happens here, Mark Morales skates out of here with the lead, that would be quite the story, because this one has driven himself into a spot that he has not been in too many times before.
The best finish for Mark Morales, 3rd at Daytona. His next best, 4th at Daytona. He has not been in this position since North Wilkesboro back in season 4, finished 6th. That was his best non-super speedway race finish, and right now in 4th position. This is a career run for one of the legends of this series. He's been here since the beginning, one of the major admins of the ISRC Truck Series. And Mark Morales, he's trained, he's practiced, and now watching champions fight against one another.
Here he goes, man. He is not wasting no time. Either Trenton jumped there, lost momentum off of 2. That allowed Morales to jump back to the inside here, and now he's going to fight for that 3rd spot. And if he can get him for 3rd, he's going to think about 2nd possibly. So we'll see what he has in his bag, but right now Trenton Jump able to clear there through the triangle, and right now it's going to be single file for our front 4. But when will the move come again? Because you know they're not satisfied. They want to lead this race.
Malik comes back out on track after getting major repairs done on the 98 machine after being caught up in that wreck earlier with Noah Steele just a few laps ago. But up front, top 4 going to be about over a half a second ahead of the group that's in 5th place, being led by Christopher Norris. Is this group, we touched on just slightly, saving fuel? They're not close enough to where they're really getting that draft help. Right now, it just seems like their pace is just a tenth off. They're going to be slowly chipping away if we continue to see our top 4 race the way they are.
That's going to be a huge question to be had for sure, Sam. I mean, 15 laps on this stint for all of these drivers. The ones that I'm watching for, though, I feel like this group here is saving. It's going to be tougher for them where they pitted. We had a few guys that did top off. Joshua Kanata back in 14th, John Forbes back in 15th, and Ryan Ferraro, and along with Tyler Horn, Nick Crawford, and Danny Cochran. They sit pretty well, except a few of those guys are a lap down, but that's just the latest of the pitters. And I tell you what, that could really come back to help them out here, and we could have some shakeup with a few drivers far back in the pack that are damaged, being able to save the field.
Hoping to save the fuel the best that you can. As drivers in the 2nd pack starting to get a little bit more racy, GT Rosari, Logan Brakey, they're trying to make a move on Christopher Norris to take over the 5th place position, and will do so. Cody Reed back in the mix. Remember the 25, he was caught up in a wreck, scraped, bruised, and he wounded, but in 9th place, still with the chance for a great finish for the 25.
What a rebound for them there, man, for sure. Is they're looking to make up the most right here at the end of this race. And you know, Reed's been bounced around a ton, but he's here right in the mix when it comes down to the end. Even Dakota Moniz here, right here in the 5. And, you know, I think a lot of these guys right here, they are trying to save the fuel. So the question is going to be, does one of the drivers in this group that, you know, pitted the first time around when we had that caution able to make the fuel, or is it the group that is topped off on the fuel? So going to come down to the wire, I think, here. I don't think our front 4 are going to have anything for fuel when it comes, if this race stays green. I think they're just banking on a yellow at some point here.
Eric with the yellow strike. You know, the majority of drivers might be thinking it could be around the 2nd pack that's being led by GT Rosari and Logan Brakey, but with them settling in line, like you're seeing on the screen as we're right on board with Dakota Moniz, there's not a lot of showing action that we're going to be seeing a wreck, but where we could see it, though, is for the lead. Chase Schaefer right back to the mix, side by side with Ollie Fonseca on the outside to the 99.
Had a great run off of 4 to get to the outside quarter panel, and now going to have the excellent positioning here off of 2. It's going to be the side draft from the 24 here, almost contact down the back straightaway, but the side draft pulls them right back in. They do make contact on the entry there. I mean, there's literally no love lost here between this group, as Fonseca's going to clear him off of 4, but now the 99 fights back to the outside, so it continues on up front.
Fonseca really was talking about what it felt like last season, and it's more contact made on the entry. It was the exit of Corbin away in the 24 and the 46, now on the outside with the 99, and this is a little bit of a nightmare that Ollie Fonseca is feeling, because this is giving him deja vu of the championship race at Charlotte last season, where Ollie was the lead driver and just felt like he was being brutalized and beaten by all the other competition until his tires gave out. And Chase Schaefer, hoping that he's been settling in it long enough that he could just take this lead and move along.
And they're playing such a game of chicken right here, right now, because it's whoever exits off the corner with the nose ahead, they're just going to get pulled back with the side draft. And you're looking at 24 going to try to slide up in front of them, but it's not going to work. That 99 is able to get back to the quarter panel, pull them right back. And this is just the side draft effect that they have. They're just racing each other back and forth, trying to gain ground on each other.
With how aggressively they're running at this moment, almost looking like every lap could be the lap that we finally see the wreck for our leaders. And Rambo 46. Jump. It was a little bit of a tap on the entry, maybe too much of speed given the 24 on entry. Chase Schaefer gives some extra spacing. This lead back, something we haven't talked about all night long. Lap traffic. It's going to be Justin Smith as well as Nick Crawford, the two drivers to watch out for, as our leaders have to decide where to go when they get next to these top two.
Great job by Schaefer there, getting clear for that lead position. Now it's going to be trying to jump to the outside of the 24. And like you said, they're coming up on lap traffic. If they're spreading all out like this, they're going to have an incident here, because they're running up on this traffic so fast with them being hurt and damaged that this could get a little mixy right here. As you're going to see, there's the 6 of Smith, and now even the 74 Nick Crawford here.
And Nick Crawford holds the outside lane, hurting the exit for Schaefer, helping the exit for the 24 of Ollie Fonseca, keeping the mix for Ollie, but wasn't able to get to the quarter panel entry of turn 4. Could be the burning factor for Ollie, because Schaefer, once he's in this clean air, doesn't seem like anyone's been able to beat the 99. But Ollie's going to have to find out where to go, because we're coming up to just 25 laps to go when they cross the line. And do you come into pit road, or do you trust your fuel saving?
Oh, it's such a tough task to be dealt, especially with the lead out front. You know that you're breaking the air for everybody behind you just to save that little bit of fuel. And when do you flinch to come to pit road too? If you know you can't make it, if you come down too early and we get the caution during the sequence, you get caught a lap down, because you know there's going to be drivers trying to look to stay out here as long as possible. This is going to be a situation where I think these drivers wait very late if they finally do decide to pit, and it could come back to really backfire on them if it does stay green.
This is the not Blackjack ISRC Throwback race. A lot of drivers running some schemes they ran back in season 1 for some. Some was their debut schemes. Tyler Dangler rocking back to his in and out like scheme as the tribute to Ryan Bird for this car, as he is having fun out on track, currently in 11th place. And Tyler Dangler, if he can somehow get by Cody Reed, we talk about some drivers trying to break their streak of getting their first win. Tyler Dangler's trying to get himself back into a top 10 finish, yet to do that since season 3 for this 19 machine.
You know that's something he's got marked on his list to get done, and he could do it here tonight. It's going to be close, that's for sure. I mean, he's a little ways back from Reed, but if he saves enough fuel, that's what it's all going to come down to here. This is all going to come down to fuel mileage. And when it's fuel mileage, you never know who's going to make it. I've been surprised so many times before that I can never doubt someone will make it fuel. So we'll see how it works out. Can Tyler Dangler get that top 10? That's been eluding him. But we check back here. This is Kanata and Forbes, man. These are the drivers that I feel like I'm very, very, feeling very strongly about them making it to the end, with them having topped off 2 laps later.
First driver hitting pit road, Logan Brakey in the 29 Armadillos Racing Team. First driver to hit pit road. He was up in about a 6th position, 2.5 seconds off our leaders. Could it be the early stop, the undercut that could give the 29 his second win in his ISRC Truck Series career? He won back at the second race of last season at Kentucky. Could magic strike once again on this second race of this season?
It very well could. It could be right around the door here for him if it does look like everybody has to sequence through. He may cycle out to that lead, get a timely caution. You never know how these races play out, but we're checking it out right here. GT Arzari, Christopher Norris. These two, I am very, very much intrigued on, because they seem like they dropped back and tried to save off these top 4 that were ahead of them. These 2 could be the ones that didn't top off that could have the best chance of making it, in my opinion.
I mean, they topped off. Another driver that I'm curious about is the 28 of Matt Dyer, because he was a driver that was up in our top 4. Looked like he got in the outside wall, but I think he just backed off to get out of everyone's way to try to save fuel back in 9th place. He could be another driver to watch out for, as he was willing to give up a lot of time on saving fuel.
That he was. It's going to come down to the wire here, folks. I can tell you that much for sure. Even Chase Schaefer and Trenton Jump, they haven't got away from each other. But again, with Logan Brakey pitting, that tells me that I just do not see the front 4 being able to make it on fuel. If Logan Brakey didn't feel like his pace was going to cut it for fuel mileage, then I just don't see those front 4 being able to make it on fuel. So we'll see if one of them attempt to do it. But right now, it's going to be possibly someone here from the 5th position on back, I believe.
And other drivers that have come to pit road are going to be Tyler Horn, as well as Cody Smith, Tyler Dangler, a couple of others over the radio chiming in that they might be thinking about coming into pit road. 20 laps to go here for the not Blackjack ISRC Throwback at Las Vegas. You're watching the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. My name's Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, Robert Moyer Jr. running productions in the background. And these are the drivers battling for the win currently. Chase Schaefer in the 99, a rookie to this season, challenging the Season 2 champion of Trenton Jump. 2 drivers that have never won at this track. Excited to see how well they're going to be continuing to run. Ollie Fonseca, who made the Final 4 last season in 3rd, and the rest of the field. Fuel strategy is on the mind, because 4th place on back on back, have dropped off dramatically on their pace.
They really have, Sam. We were seeing 32 flats to 31 9s for our leaders. Then from the 4th position on back, we're seeing 32 8s, 32 6s. So we're seeing almost a half a second to a full second of fuel saving being done by some of these drivers. I think some of them know it's going to be close, so they've really ramped up that fuel saving. If you weren't thinking about it early, then you're going to be in a tricky situation. And, with 18 to go here they come down pit road.
Pit stop! It's going to be Trenton Jump blasting by Schaefer, trying to get the lead position. He locks it up right in front of the 99. Trenton Jump, who had so many black flag penalties last week, got 2, and I think he got in just in time.
What a job by Trenton Jump there. Always one for the flair, the Season 2 champion, and he really pulled off an excellent pass. And did Schaefer go through too far? No, it looks like he will stop just far enough in his box. But there we go. Leaders have pit. Now it's going to be up to the rest of the field. Do they have enough fuel for the rest of this race?
Ollie Fonseca going to be the lead driver, looking at his time, still running same speeds that he was running before. Putting down some very fast times and trying to keep up at his pace. He's going to be having to drop off, but at this moment, looking at drivers that are willing to put down some pretty fast times, Cody Reed, Matt Dyer, they are not slowing down. It looks like running pretty decent lap times as the rest of the field that have already pitted trying to unlap themselves.
Also, interesting strategy call here, guys. The 99 Chase Schaefer, just right side tires. No, did not take the lefts. He had about a 5-second faster pit stop than Trenton Jump due to that, and that's going to put Schaefer way out in front of him. But my question is, how will that truck handle? Will it be able to grip the bottom well enough with the older left sides? And we've talked about people being tight. Sometimes taking just right side tires can loosen up that balance. His truck might be better to his liking. We'll have to see what the lap times produce.
Tires going to be so crucial in the end of this race. Will it be someone that's already pitted, or could it be someone trying to save fuel currently as Martin Morales continues to fall off on speed? The 1 has fallen all the way back to that second pack that we touched on with GT Rosari, Christopher Norris. Those drivers are getting very mixy with drivers that have already taken tires, as Trenton Jump bobbing and weaving his way through as he has to make a heroic push to catch up to his teammate of Logan Brakey as well as Chase Schaefer.
Yeah, he's going to have to definitely have a heroic push, that's for sure, as he's lost a ton of time through this sequence. And I will say Schaefer not with the fastest times here just to start off the run. I'm at 31.07 there. Trenton Jump, he's really been around the low 30.7s. That time was a 30.03. But that right there was passing through traffic, so still faster for the 46. But again, I don't think this is going to be a battle for the lead, because Fonseca, he's now pitted. Morales Does he have enough fuel saved? Because remember, he shot up to the front.
Got up to the front, and now it's down to drivers that thought they had saved enough fuel. Mark Morales continuing to try to go into extreme save mode. Now down to just a little bit over half a second is the difference between Mark Morales and GT Rosari for first and second currently. Look at Logan Brakey. He's all the way back, mired in 12th position, but he is being caught by Trenton Jump, putting down the fastest laps of anyone on track. And Zach, based off those numbers, I think Trenton Jump has a chance in the time to catch up to Chase Schaefer, but that's if everyone ahead of them can't make it on fuel.
You're exactly right. Looking at the lap times, he's so much faster than Chase Schaefer here. I think he will catch him. The concern is if everybody else can make it on fuel, because he's 27 seconds behind Martin Morales, and he's running about a second and a half to almost 2 seconds faster, about a second and a half faster than Morales or anybody in that top 5 group. That's not going to cut it with only the 11 laps we have, so he's not going to catch up there unless they have to go super ultra fuel save. But if they do all run out, it's going to be a battle between Schaefer and Jump.
Laps continuing to tick down, make it 10 laps to go. Mark Morales leading the way. Still a little bit over a half a second between himself and GT Irizarry. Irizarry putting down fast laps. Christopher Norris, I think they recognize we are trying to save fuel, but we also need to make the push to get by this one machine. And out of all the drivers that are in this lead group, the top 5, all within a second, all different strategies. Some saved early, some have been aggressively saving late in this run, and it's all down to this moment. 1 second, the difference between these drivers, who's got the tires now and the fuel to take it to the end.
Oh, this is going to be fun to watch. Even Joshua Kanata right now, he's about 4 seconds back from him. He's running about 3/10 faster than majority of them, other than Matt Dyer, who's flying up through this 28, might have this one in the bag as he's rolling up to Christopher Norris and getting to his outside here at number 3.
The big advantage for Matt Dyer, again, he started on the last restart furthest ahead of any of these drivers. He had the time, the spacing to back off his pace and save more fuel because of it without losing as much track position. So now he saved the fuel, he's hit his mark. It's go time for the 28 machine. But again, it's the tires I'm more concerned about for the 28 as he makes the pass on the outside by Christopher Norris. Matt Dyer up to 3rd as the laps continue to tick down.
Huge moment for the 28. Now he's going to set his sights on the 14 machine. Then the next will be the 1. We'll see, does he have anything left? It's Cody Reed, who's somewhat close on pace there in the 5th position, not too far back behind him, only 1 truck back. That could have a shot at him also. This is going to come down to our top 5 guys, and if they make it, this is going to be one heck of a finish.
Saving fuel, fast drivers feeling like all they had to do was just battle and be aggressive. But maybe it was fuel mileage. I threw it out there. Maybe fuel mileage wasn't going to be the key of this race. Well, I might have to throw that out the window as Mark Morales up front. GT Rosari, it is 0.7 seconds, and Matt Dyer is trying to close in the gap the fastest that he can. 6 laps to go as they cross the line. It's the 1 looking for his first ever win in the ISRC Lariat Productions Truck Series, and he's been here. He's one of the most well-known drivers in this league because he's been here since day 1 and still looking for that first win.
What a story that would be. I think this would be one of the best feel-good moments of the league in its history if this one is able to get back to the checker flag in the same position he's in. He's going to have a tough time, though. He's going to have some drivers to deal with, and the first one's going to be GT Irizarry to see if he can get up there. But only 5 laps remaining. Can Morales hold on for that first career victory?
5 laps, and when they come across the line this go around, they have hit what should technically be the limit. They might be able to go another lap based off the fuel that we were given because of pace laps, but then it's into the unknown. With it being 3 laps to go, when we hit 3 to go, that is when we do not know who's going to have the fuel and who doesn't, as Mark Morales still leading the way. GT Rosari, this is the closest he's been this whole entire stint.
This is going to come down to the very last lap here. The rate that Irizarry is catching Morales, if it continues this way, he's going to have a shot in that very final lap and maybe even coming to the white flag there at 2 to go. But Morales has just got to think, I got to keep speed and also keep fueling it. And that is one of the toughest things to do from behind the driver's seat. You're just praying that you have enough fuel in that tank to get you back to the checker flag. And right now, 3 laps to go for Martin Morales to get it done.
3 laps to go, and now we're into the unknown for these drivers. Martin Morales less than 3/10 to hold off GT Irizarry. Matt Dyer also trying to close in the gap. That last time by, it was Irizarry that was the fastest of all drivers in the top 5. And looking at the rate, Chase Schaefer, if all these drivers ahead of the 99 cannot make it on fuel, he still has a 2.5 gap lead over Trent Jump. Jump has not been able to catch up, but GT Irizarry is now here on the back bumper of the 1 machine.
Let's see what he can do here, man. This is going to get very, very spicy here with 2 to go. Will Morales have enough fuel to get back to the checker flag, or does he not have enough? As he drops low in the back straightaway here, I don't know if he's trying to break the draft. Most likely trying to do that as they head into 3 and 4. We're going to possibly get that white flag, and it's going to be on from there. Only 1.5 miles left.
If you've got the fuel, you've got to rip it. You got to send everything you've got. GT Irizarry right on the back bumper. It is going to be the laugh white flag as GT Irizarry spins the 1. He spins Martin, and now the 14 trying to hold steady. Matt Dyer trying to close in the gap. Will the 14, after spinning the 1, the hopes and dreams, it's Matt Dyer, the rookie, closing it in.
Oh, man, here we go down the back straightaway. The 28 closes the gap, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. GT off of turn 4. He's got enough fuel, it seems. He's going to win this race.
It wouldn't be Las Vegas without some drama, and the 14 of GT Irizarry takes out Martin Morales and wins the non-Blackjack ISRC Throwback at Las Vegas.
Oh, man, this is definitely going to be a talked about finish here for a while. But what a job by all of our drivers there in the top 6 who all stayed out there, saved the fuel, and made it to the end. And I think a lot of other drivers like Chase Schaefer and Trent Jump are going to be questioning, man, I should have possibly tried that. But you just never know.
You really don't. And for the 14, I mean, this was an incredible charge to catch up to Martin Morales. But if we do have the replay, I might want to rewatch it because that finish was wild to see how the 1 and is also that of the 14 machine. The deking moves that were happening on the front stretch really did what changed up how the ending of this race was going to go. Because, Zach, this is the move that won GT Irizarry the race.
Yeah, I don't know if this will be a popular move, but in my opinion, it's completely within the book there. I mean, he's there. The 1 was trying everything to hold him back. If I'm Martin Morales there, I think you got to just try to hold it on his door here on the final lap, give him the inside, and try to have that preferred groove on the outer groove to hold him back. But I understand also the point of trying to close that inside off. It's just a tough situation to be made. And when it's milliseconds and just seconds of thought here that make these decisions. And I think Martin maybe will come back and look at this one and say, maybe I should have just left the inside open because he was there.
Yeah, and Martin, he was trying to block. I think he was expecting a little bit of a more move by the 14. GT did nothing wrong there. Held his line, stayed on the white line. It was Martin that made the move too high up, came across, spun himself out, and it's GT Irizarry taking the gold for race number 2 this season. Congratulations to GT Irizarry on the win. But for us, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we will talk to our top 3 and a spotlight driver after this. That's GT Irizarry, Matt Dyer, Christopher Norris, and someone special right after this. Sparks fly, and it was madness at the end. A last lap pass, and GT Irizarry gets himself back into victory lane. This is going to propel the 14 back into the playoffs. What a run we got to see there. And let's bring in the 14 machine of GT Irizarry. Get his thoughts in victory lane. GT, congratulations. You find yourself getting the early win. How are you feeling after that one?
I mean, this feels pretty good, man. I mean, I owe that whole that victory right there to Curtis Preston, my crew chief. I mean, if it wasn't been for him, we wouldn't be in here talking to you. We would have been pitting like them other guys. But as soon as we were under yellow, he was yelling to save fuel, and the whole run he was kind of pulling the reins back, like, nope, don't go, just keep saving fuel. You got to save me a lap and a half, and I'll be dang if it didn't work, man.
That it did, GT. Congrats, man. Great to see you get that first victory here already early in the season. Lock yourself into the playoffs. You're talking about pulling the reins back there from your crew chief on you there. How tough is that as a driver to know you got, you could go faster, but you need to save that fuel to get to that checker flag?
Ironically enough, the first win we got here at Homestead, Curtis was crew chief there too, and it was the same thing. He's just got a way of a cool way of talking you through it and handling all the stuff that I don't have to worry about, like fuel mileage and stuff like that when it comes to what to take, what not to take. And, he's just, again, I mean, if he wouldn't have been on board, we wouldn't be talking to you. But, I'm good to talk to you again there, Zach.
I mean, GTU is certainly a crazy run there at the end. I know that wasn't probably the way that you wanted to finish the end, but we were looking at it. It looked like a clean move. You held your line. You got the win. How does this win help you, though, going into the rest of the season with that pressure now lifted that you're locked into the playoffs?
Well, ironically enough, I wasn't going to run the season, and then as I started looking at the schedule, I was like, there's some cool tracks on here early on. So I was like, but really, it was like the last week I decided, yeah, I'm in, and I want to give it a full crack at trying to get a get into the top four with these guys. I mean, I really thought I had the speed last season, and just bad luck just tends to find me, or I create bad luck, however you want to look at it. So it's a confident booster for sure. But we still got some good tracks coming up, for us. So I'm hoping we'll get 2 or 3 W's to show that we're a force to reckon with here later on.
I cannot wait to see how you perform in those other tracks, GT. Well, before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours for any shoutouts.
First and foremost, I got to give a huge thank you once again to Curtis Preston. He's been a long-time teammate of mine from Cup all the way down to Xfinity to trucks and stuff like that. Again, if we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Thank the league for putting this on. Sorry to Martin. He kind of briefly talked to me and told me it wasn't my fault. I did not mean to do that. I know he's really looking for he was probably just as hungry as I was to try and get a W there. Appreciate you guys up in the booth as well, Butt Kicker for coming on board and stuff like that. And we're looking for a new sponsor for the truck. So right now we're just running a Ford basically. But I've got Danny and I have been talking. We're going to come up with a new sponsor for this truck. So we'll see.
We're excited to see what new scheme you get. Congratulations, GT, on your win here tonight, and good luck into next week's race.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You too. That's the 14 of GT Irizarry coming away with the win. Second race of the season. And man, it's got to be feeling good to get yourself into victory lane. Well, let's shoot on over to second place with the driver that almost found himself there with the late drama coming to the white flag. We got Matt Dyer with us. Matt, you come away second. Man, how are you feeling after that chaotic race and some luck handed your way?
I do feel pretty good. It just sucks that we fell so short. But the truck felt really good all night. Just unfortunate that at the last restart, I got a little bit wiggly in 1 and 2, and just lost all momentum. And just got set more towards the back. But I think if I would have been up more towards the front, I think I would have had a shot at it. But I still brought the truck home with 23 seconds damage. So I think it's a good day.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was going to get at, Matt, is that, damage you had on that rear bumper there is just definitely probably hurting your straight line speed there a little bit. How did that feel, though, from the cockpit?
Yeah, you could definitely tell it was a little bit struggling, down the straight. It definitely felt a lot tighter, but I mean, that little bit of tightness also helped me be a little bit more off the throttle. So it definitely helped in the fuel saving mode too.
Well, Matt, after last week, I know it was not the happiest you've been. We saw it in the chat, and also you got yourself a warning because of your frustration. How do you feel like you're going to be able to take this second place and carry that momentum into future races since Auto Club is our next destination?
Uh, I think it's gonna be pretty good too. I know I'm pretty good at Auto Club, but it's another track where you do got to save tires. So I think it's really just going to come down to, can I save the tires? If it comes down to another few miles too, like I definitely will be there at the end.
We're excited to see how you're going to perform there, Matt. Congratulations on second place and good luck next week. Oh, excuse me.
Thank you.
Actually, before you go, the floor is now yours for any shoutouts.
Just a huge shout out to to Thin Line Racing, Nightfall Graphics, to you guys for broadcasting every week, and to the admins for putting this all on, and also to Lap Graphics too.
That's going to be Matt Dyer in the 28 machine. Comes away second here, Las Vegas, and good luck at Auto Club.
Thank you.
As we move along from second place, let's head to third to a driver that we get to talk to 2 weeks in a row. Crazy to think. We got Christopher Norris, our winner from last week at Daytona, comes away third. Christopher, you come away with third place. I mean, how are you feeling after that chaotic race of all the carnage, and now you're in third?
Thankful, man. Fuel strategy was tight. Got a few laps led, and man, I'm pretty excited because I believe with this sponsor of the race, we had a little bit of a bet going on and won myself some $65.
There you go, Norris. That's the way to do it, buddy. Start off with a win some money in the next one. And, I just want to get to the point where, last season, nobody expected. I can go ahead and say that you were going to make the Final Four. You did it. You were on such a roll in those playoffs. It seems like it's carried over. You got a win and now a third place finish. Do you think this is going to be the trend now for yourself as you're a front-running driver and a driver to contend for that points lead?
I hope so, man. I know, actually, with the throwback of this steam that's on at the moment on screen, that's a steam I was known for wrecking everyone in, causing all the big ones and causing a bunch of carnage and damage. So I'm glad to be able to come up from there and be a front runner, and I'm hoping the momentum continues. Even if we have a bad week next week, it happens. It's got to happen sometime. I'm just glad to be able to run for some stage points and get a good finish on the week-to-week basis as much as I can.
Well, talking about next week, heading to Auto Club, then going to Canadian Tire, and then Dover. How are you feeling about these next 3 races that are coming up?
Auto Club, that's basically just save some tire, and it's a draft train, unfortunately, in these trucks. Nothing you can really do about it with the low horsepower and whatnot. So just hoping for a decent finish there. Top 10 will do me well. Canadian Tire, glad to head to a road course. Actually, I've been practicing last week, mile and a half of Las Vegas, so hoping to put in some good time and hopefully be pretty good there.
Well, Norris, we're excited to see how well you're going to perform in these future races. Being on top, it's great to see how you've evolved your racing to get where you're at today. Before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any shoutouts.
Well, first one, of course, is my teammates, Nick Crawford, John Forbes, and Cody Reed. Nick was doing so well. Unfortunately, he had that wreck. Cody, glad to see him overcome what his starting position was and fall back to a good finish. And Forbes somehow being just his truck being a Titan and getting through every single wreck and being just fine. And of course, I have to do a huge shout out to Josh Kanata. He actually did some really good job with numbers. So he actually helped me out there a little bit, just calculating how much fuel I needed, telling me how much exactly at the line, and just helping me out there. And of course, you guys for the great show, the admins for putting this on, and of course, the lead sponsor, Lair Productions.
Well, that is going to be the 38 machine of Christopher Norris out of tonight. Should still be the points leader after first 2 races. Congratulations, Norris, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
As we go from third place spotlight driver, who was it going to be? It's 4th place finisher, Cody Reed, as we bring in the 25. Cody, congratulations on 4th. I know you wanted to be pulled up in the booth a lot last season. Thought, hey, we'll bring you up in the booth this season. You come away 4th place, up that 14th positions after not a great qualifying run. How are you feeling after your performance here this evening?
I'm really surprised because stage 1 was like the worst. You couldn't pass, I was just kept getting stuck in the wrong lane. I get stuck behind like slow cars. Like I was running my tires too hard. Couldn't go anywhere. I was stuck around like 23rd pretty much all of stage 1. After pitting, I got up to like 16th, I think. It was awful. So I figured that's where I was going to be all race. And then, I caused that wreck. Really sorry to Mason and Cody Smith there. But didn't get too much damage. And after that, I'm like, okay, I'm probably just going to be like 20th for the rest of the race. But, with the fuel strategy, big props to Josh Kanata. He was letting us know how our fuel was going to go, how much fuel we needed to make it to the end. So he kept updating us. If it wasn't for him, me and Norris would not have been up there. I'm sure Norris might have said that already. At least he should have. Big props to him. Definitely super surprised I got that finish. Definitely don't really think I deserved it after that terrible race, but I'm very happy with it.
Well, man, I understand how sometimes it can play out for you, and it's good it did there tonight, Cody, man. So congrats on that great fourth place finish here for yourself. But we got Auto Club, and then most importantly, Canadian Tire coming up in 2 weeks for us here. How do you feel first off about Auto Club, and then do you feel also strong headed into a road course where we know you've had your previous win?
Well, Auto Club, I don't really care for. It's not my best track. I think I'm kind of okay there, but I'm not really looking forward to it. But Canadian Tire, that is probably my most looked forward to track this entire season. I have one race there on iRacing in an official race, and I won that one. So I feel pretty confident in it. Obviously, I'm going to do a lot of practicing. It's definitely my style of road course. Not really like Road America or anything because I'm not very good at Road America. But I am very excited for it. I think it's a potential win. If not, I definitely think one of my teammates could probably get it. But I am very excited for that race. Yeah, that's it.
Well, excitement certainly is up in the air, Cody. Congratulations on fourth place again. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours.
Again, big thanks to Josh Kanata for being a crew chief for all of SDR tonight, and then big thanks to SDR. We should be pretty good in team standings right now. I know Norris probably has a pretty healthy lead in points right now. Kind of sucks. Nick had some bad luck tonight, or else we definitely could have probably all gotten like the top 10. But still great race for all of us. And I'd like to thank you guys for putting on a great show. And I'd like to thank the admins for putting this league together and everything. And yeah, that's it.
Well, that is going to be the 25 machine of Cody Reed coming away fourth. Congratulations on this finish, and good luck at Auto Club next week.
All right, thank you.
As we go from our interviews, let's head on over and check out what the unofficial results look like here tonight. 2 races in and plenty of drama to digest out of those 2. Daytona was a crazy one. Christopher Norris getting the win in a late lap pass. And once again, last lap, last pass, and it was GT Rosari getting by Martin Morales to get it done. You have to be hurting for Martin, who was going for his best career finish, and it was just a bad deke move that gets him sent so deep in the field. But taking the glory, it's GT Irizarry in the 14. Matt Dyer comes away second, with Christopher Norris in third, Cody Reed in fourth, Joshua Kanata 5th place, John Forbes 6th, and those are all the drivers that are able to save the fuel to take it to the end. Then taking tires in 7th was Chase Schaefer, Trent Jump, Ollie Fonseca in 9th, and 10th being Ryan Ferraro, who also saved fuel for the 34.
Great run for the rookie TJ Crampton there. He's going to just be just outside the top 10 in the 11th position, but you got to feel for a driver in 13th, Amar Morales. We talked about it. Just a lot going wrong there at the end and ends up spun around, but he'll be back. That was a great run and a great showing for him. But as you look through the rest of the field, you're going to see some guys that had some bad nights who are strong contenders, such as Nick Crawford back in 20th, Danny Cochran 21st, Mark Whitley back in 26th, our pole setter Noah Steele back in 28th. 25th. I mean, it was definitely a little bit of a junkyard there tonight with a few of the wrecks, with some guys getting into some big incidents here, Sam.
A lot of big wrecks, and at the end of the day, that's what Las Vegas usually brings, is drama at the end of these races and some massive carnage that we'll see if it's going to carry over into these future races. But I gotta say, Zach, this rookie class, you got strategy from Matt Dyer as he had to recover after a mistake. Data Chase Schaefer looks to be one of the heavy favorites to watch out for. But the biggest surprise in my mind, where will Mark Whitley fit in all of this? We know the driver that has the most wins in the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series history books. He's got the most wins there. When will we see the 77 build up a win? And will it be next week at Auto Club? Because I gotta say, next week certainly has an opportunity to be another massive mess with all the drivers going 3, 4, 5, even 6 wide at times.
You're exactly right, Sam. I think we're going to see a lot more of what we've seen here tonight. It's a lot of drafting, a lot of high-speed action, a lot of side-by-side racing, and there's plenty of lanes, like you said, there, Auto Club, to spread out and really make the action wild. So I'm expecting more of that, and yeah, I know coming through this race here, we got to see our really first test of a 1.5-mile intermediate style track. And I'll tell you what, we're going to have some definitely some strong contenders in there to see where everybody irons out when it's all said and done. But that's why we got this season ahead of us. I cannot wait for more action to kick off, and Auto Club's a great place to do it for sure.
And Auto Club going to be our next broadcast. This is your last week of just only ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series action. Next week is the start of a couple of other series that we cover here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Excited to see what those other series are going to bring. New cars, Gen 4, going to be the next destination for that of the Stars and Stripes, as well for the WSSR that have moved nights to Wednesday. And on Tuesday, Full Send Racing Series, they are moving back to the Xfinity car. Lots of drama, lots of excitement, and it's all going to be here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, Robert Moyer Jr. runs production in the background. Thank you so much for watching tonight's event, watching the ISRC Larry Art Productions Truck Series. Race number 2 is in the books. We get ready to head to California for some Auto Club action. Can't wait for it. It's going to be next week, being our next Freaky Fast broadcast.